Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Week 9 on the road to WrestleMania 39 of WWE Aftershock. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with
Chris.
And yeah, I'm really excited, getting excited for WrestleMania season. This is the first time in a while where Chris and I didn't do like a long, extensive talk about the product or anything like that before we started recording. So I don't even know how he feels about anything right now. He could feel really good about it. He could feel really bad about it. He could be in the middle about it. He could just be like whatever. He could just not even care.
I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
What we're doing, so
yeah. Well, at least this time, you're doing Raw notes, by the way. At least I didn't spring you on it completely last minute because
this is last second actually because I didn't know what we were doing.
No, because we're not talking about Raw first. Let me just share my Raw notes with you. I gotta find them. Where are they? Oh, here they are. Okay. I know it was kind of last second though, but I didn't think that you weren't going to be available. I thought we had time to talk about this ahead of time, but I mean, you should know this, by the way. You're a Raw guy. You always do the Raw notes. So
am I?
Yeah, you loved it back in the old Aftershock Massasoit Wrestling Corner days.
Definitely.
I'm gonna text them to you too. This is what happens when you do your laundry right before the show. By the way, you gotta prioritize.
Well, and I can't help the fact that my mom walked into my room and was like, "I called you 7 times to put your laundry away." I can't help that.
I know. Actually, I can't really. I don't have a comeback with that because I'm about to go back to that life pretty soon. So, but anyhow, yeah, let's start talking about some wrestling. A lot's changed. The last time we did a video was like the Wednesday or like Thursday after Elimination Chamber, and we haven't done a rundown of WWE Aftershock in like over a week, and it feels like a lot changed. I feel like a lot happened. I think that's the great thing of like the Triple H era, not the Vince McMahon's back era. That's the only thing we're saying about that. We'll probably say some more, but Vince is not back, guys. Don't worry.
They will though.
Yeah, but it feels like a lot happens in over a week. If we did this in the Vince era, we'd be like, oh, not a lot much has happened. To be honest, I would have just told James, who's producing this video, F it, we're not doing it because Vince doesn't bother to write good enough stories for us to talk about. But we're in the Triple H era. We're in the good booking era. So, but before we actually start talking about it, I'm just going to quickly break down main event, SmackDown, and I almost said 205 Live, but NXT Level Up
from
last week. I'll just cover them real quick. I think the only thing you're really going to be like giving feedback on is SmackDown because that's the only show you watched from last week. But let's go through. I'll go through main event real quick. It took place on February 22nd, 2023. Apparently this week's did too because I didn't update the notes. Apparently there was 2 main events from February 22nd, 2023, apparently. But the one that actually took place on February 22nd, 2023, we had Byron Saxton and Kevin Patrick on commentary for both episodes. It kicked off with Cedric Alexander versus Akira Tozawa. I say 205 Live. These were the 2 standard bearers of the Cruiserweight division. I always loved seeing them go at it. They put on a phenomenal match here. They continued to tease the fact that the Hurt Business was going to get back together because Shelton Benjamin and MVP accompanied Cedric Alexander ringside. Cedric Alexander worked here a little bit in this match, but eventually he ended up winning with the lumbar check. It was a great match, really enjoyable. Then we had Dana Brooke and Tamina versus Candice LeRae and Mia Yim. A pretty good match there. Candice LeRae and Mia Yim won when Mia Yim hit Eat Defeat on, I think it was Dana Brooke, after Candice LeRae hit a springboard moonsault onto Dana Brooke. Might have been Tamina. I really don't remember because it was over a week ago, and it's main event. You can't remember main event from over a week ago. So it was a pretty good episode of main event. I would give it like a B-. I liked obviously the cruiserweight match the best, even though there's no cruiserweight division anymore, but the old cruiserweight division. But let's go through SmackDown now. SmackDown last week took place on February 24th, 2023. We had Wade Barrett and Michael Cole on commentary for both episodes of SmackDown. Kayla Braxton was backstage, and Jimmy Uso arrives, and she wants to know what the state of the bloodline is, because I think this was right after Elimination Chamber, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He said that he's going to call out his brother Jey Uso, so that way they can finally squash whatever's going on between them. Then we had Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and Madcap Moss versus Imperium. Good six-man here. Walter beat Madcap Moss with the powerbomb. I actually like the finish a lot here because Madcap Moss was doing really well, getting a hot tag, and then all of a sudden when Walter got in there, he just pretty much like flat out destroyed Madcap Moss. I'm like, yeah, you go, Walter, you go.
What a great showing by Gunther.
Drew McIntyre came out to watch the match. And then after the match was over, he got attacked from behind by the Viking Raiders. Sheamus came out. It led to a big brawl. And Braun Strowman and Ricochet got into the mix. And Ricochet hit a big flip dive onto the outside onto the Viking Raiders. So the Viking Raiders did not stand a chance. All the faces except for Madcap Moss hated them in this segment. So
they deserve it.
Then we had Rey Mysterio get interviewed. He was talking about his match with Karrion Kross. Dominic Mysterio came up and started insulting Mysterio and everything like that. Then Santos Escobar came up to him and talked back to Dominic Mysterio, saying that he's disgracing the Mysterio family name and everything like that, and says that if Rey won't put you in a place, then I will. Dominic walked off afterwards, and Rey and Santos shook hands and stuff. We didn't really talk about this because this was during that period, but we went a couple of weeks without doing the show. The reason this tag team or relationship or friendship, I should probably say, that's probably more specific, has gone down between Rey and Santos is they did a segment after that four-way match that Madcap Moss won to become the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship, where they showed respect toward each other and handed each other off the mask and everything like that. And basically Santos turned babyface from it. We're not really sure what's going to happen to the rest of Legado del Fantasma. I'll talk about it when we actually review this week's SmackDown because I have a theory of what could happen from it. But I actually am really enjoying Face Santos. But we'll talk. I'll let you kind of talk about it after I break down the rest of the show. Afterwards, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman's backstage. I don't remember this one as much. I'm pretty sure it's here actually where Jimmy Uso said he's going to call out not Paul Heyman, but Jey Uso. I'll just tell you, later in the night, I'm pretty sure it's not this segment, it's the next one. Paul Heyman basically said that if Jimmy Uso doesn't handle the Jey Uso problem, then Roman Reigns will next week, which ended up being last night's SmackDown. But yeah, I liked all the Bloodline segments backstage. Then we had LA Knight come out to cut a promo, and he talked about how WrestleMania should be LA Knight Mania since it's in California, and his name is LA Knight. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He's got a lot of good points right there. Then the New Day came out minus Big E because he's still injured. And they basically make fun of him. The New Day had a lot of good lines there. And it led to a match between LA Knight and Kofi Kingston. During the match, LA Knight dominated a good chunk of the match. Eventually, after Kofi does his comeback and everything like that, and LA Knight gained the advantage again. He attacked Xavier Woods on the outside, and behind the referee's back, Xavier Woods basically blasted the trombone into LA Knight's ears, which that must have hurt. I hope LA Knight can still heal pretty good. I hope his hearing's not messed up forever. And
that's why he yells "yeah" so loudly all the time because he can't hear.
I know. Well, yeah, it's true. But yeah, Kofi hit the Trouble in Paradise onto LA Knight. He got the win. Then we had Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley's face-to-face segment. Rhea Ripley doesn't come out. Instead, it's Dominic Mysterio. And he basically puts over Rhea Ripley, talk about how she's a better woman than Charlotte Flair and everything like that. This is the first reference they've made to Andrade because she mentioned something how she married a better Latino than Dominic did because I think Dominic was trying to hit on Charlotte Flair here. And then eventually, I think it leads to Rhea Ripley come out, and that's when they have the face-off. So good face-off here. I liked it. Then we had Natalya with Shayna Baszler. No, sorry, Natalya with Tegan Nox versus Shayna Baszler. I think with Wanda. I didn't write with Wanda for some reason. I forgot. But earlier in the during an exclusive, Natalya wasn't cleared to wrestle because this was right after the Elimination Chamber. And she was advised not to, but Natalya chose to anyways. And Tegan Nox said she was going to be in a corner. So, yeah, we had this match here. Eventually, Shayna Baszler made Natalya tap out with an armbar. I think that's a new finisher now because she did it again on this week's SmackDown, but we'll talk about that later. And then eventually, afterwards, Wanda tried to attack Natalya, and Tegan Nox evened the odds. It was really weird because it didn't make sense when Tegan Nox fought them off because it's not like she fought her off with a weapon or anything like that. She just fought them off. And Ronda Rousey completely kind of buries Tegan Nox here, being like, who is this? And all that type of stuff. So, whatever. Then we had the Firefly Funhouse segment. Basically, the theme of it was wondering if we could keep a secret or not. It showed Bray Wyatt, not the Firefly Funhouse version, but the version we see now, watching the promo segment that Bobby Lashley had cut on Raw after he had beat up Elias. And obviously, this was to set up the match between him and Bobby Lashley. I still don't know what I saw. I remember in the chat that we have privately, I messaged everybody asking, what the hell was that? What did I just see? I still don't know what we saw. I thought we would get more clarification about it, but we didn't. But I still liked it a lot. Then it was that other Bloodline segment that I've already broken down. Then we had Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross. Rey Mysterio went to bounce off the ropes for the 619, but Scarlett was on the apron. She did that spot where the manager is on the apron and the wrestler bounces off the ropes and she flipped into the ring. This distracted the referee long enough for Dominic Mysterio to interfere. He blocked the 619, dropped Rey to the floor. Rey relented. He wouldn't hit Dominic. And eventually it led to a distraction. Karrion Kross hit a forearm to the back of the head, followed by the cross jacket, and Rey passed out. And I like the storyline they told here because I think Rey didn't want to tap out in front of his son in spite of him, so instead he passed out. I thought that was good storytelling. Then afterwards, Dominic Mysterio was trying to get Rey to hit him, but Rey refused. He relented. He just walked to the back. Then we had Jimmy Uso come out at the end of the show to cut his promo. He was trying to call out his brother to ask what is where he stands in the bloodline. And who came out? None other than Sami Zayn. And I'm happy they did this because I think it was the same day where I read an article that it didn't even make any sense. A lot of the news articles now are starting not to make sense anyways. We're going to be talking about that a lot in this show, where they were going to stop putting Sami Zayn in segments that were going to make him popular because they were worried that it would ruin Cody's popularity. This segment right here completely nullified that article because, if that was true, the Sami Zayn would not have been here. He probably wouldn't have been on this show. And this segment I was really looking forward to. I had to plug my laptop in. I forgot to plug it in ahead of time because my laptop, I forget, battery isn't the greatest anymore. So, but anyhow, I've been waiting for a segment where Sami Zayn was going to confront Jimmy. Because if you remember when Sami Zayn joined the Bloodline originally, him and Jimmy were the closest before Roman, before any of that. So we needed some type of confrontation between Sami and Jimmy Uso. And Sami Zayn even said all this, like after everything they had been through, the fact that Jimmy just went ahead and just betrayed him really hurt him. And it led to some more segments where Sami Zayn talked about how the bloodline isn't a family because they make you question yourself and make you have to earn your keep in the family, which is not how a family should act. And eventually, Jimmy Uso said that he betrayed him when he decided to not pull the trigger and betray the bloodline. And Sami Zayn tried to tell Jimmy that there was a way out for him. He didn't have to go down with the ship, but Jimmy wouldn't listen. He attacked Sami Zayn, completely cheap-shotted him. And during this, Jey Uso makes an appearance. I think actually Jey Uso made the appearance originally, and that's what led to Jimmy attacking him. And Jimmy was attacked by Jey, and Sami used this distraction to hit the haluva kick. And Sami actually left on the side of in the audience where Jey was, and there was like a look at each other, like they were acknowledging each other. And yeah, it led to a lot of questions and led a lot of fear from everybody because we knew the tribal chief was going to be coming back, and the tribal chief was not going to be very happy to see what happened here. But that was SmackDown. I thought this was a great show. I gave it like a B+, I think. The only thing I really didn't like on this show was that Natalya-Shayna Baszler match, mainly because Ronda Rousey was involved in that. And I think Ronda Rousey's just starting to ruin everything related to wrestling. Not everything, but like when she's in that segment, I just do not care anymore. But what did you think of SmackDown from last week, given your 2 cents?
I thought it was really good. I really liked it. Everything made sense. Like it was a cohesive show. I liked it.
Yeah. Originally, too, when I watched this show, I obviously didn't like the fact that it looked like we were going to go back to the Viking Raiders versus Sheamus and Ricochet. And I think I didn't like the fact that LA Knight, I didn't necessarily, at least he was protected in defeat, but I think LA Knight probably should have won last week because this was obviously his first match since the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. But other than that, it was fine. But yeah, great show.
Squash.
Huh?
We needed a squash.
Next, we have Level Up. Going through that real quick. That took place the same day as SmackDown. On commentary for both shows were Byron Saxton and Blake Howard, because Sudu Shaw is not with the company anymore, as Chris said a few weeks ago. So they have a new commentary now. It's Blake Howard. He does the play-by-play now. He's not that good at the moment, but he's also new to the role, so you have to kind of give him a break when it comes to that type of stuff. I just can't get into the commentary on Level Up anymore anyways, because they change the commentary team every like 6 months. So how can you get into the commentary team if they keep changing it? Like, this guy could be great, but he'll probably be gone in 6 months. So what's the point?
That's the point.
Axiom wrestled Kale Dixon. Kale Dixon's one of the new recruits that they've hired recently. He doesn't have a gimmick yet because he's on Level Up. He's still learning. Axiom won with not the golden rewind, but that like insecurity that he hits. I forget what he calls that, but that's how he won. The golden rewind, another mass luchador's finisher that he never hit ever again in WWE. Cal Dixon's pretty good. I like him. He doesn't have a gimmick at the moment. I have a feeling right when he gets to NXT, he's going to have some bad gimmick that Shawn Michaels will write for him, like Scripps got, though. So who even cares? Miles Bourne and Tank Ledger got interviewed. They're a new tag team now. Miles Bourne's pretty bad on the mic, mainly because he doesn't have broken English, but I think he has some type of disabilities or something.
He's deaf.
Yeah. I could say, so you could say I could cut him a break, but they should also, if that's the case, he shouldn't be talking on the mic if he can't cut a promo. He should have a manager or something. Tank Ledger's pretty good. The thing that sucks now is now that Rick Boogs is back, he's just basically a low-rent Rick Boogs pretty much, so he needs a new gimmick because if Rick Boogs is around, no one stands a chance with a gimmick like that. They're going to be a new tag team now. That's probably not going. That probably doesn't get anything. It probably didn't even last the rest of the episode. So whatever. Then we had Lola Vice versus Sal Ruka. Soul Snatcher win. Okay match here, but it was just kind of whatever. Then we had Miles Bourne and Tank Ledger versus Damon Kemp and Travis Heights. No, Travin Heights, not Travis Heights. Travin. Yeah, this was fine. I don't understand why they threw Travis Heights out there without anyone really knowing about him. It's some if he should if there as anyone that should have had an interview segment, it should have been Damon Kim and Travis Heights because Travis Heights was just sent out there that nobody knew. That at points people started chanting, "Who are you, Adam?" Because nobody knew who he was. Damon Kemp and Travis Heights ended up winning the match, which was pretty obvious that was going to happen because Damon Kemp was the most well-known out of any of them. But to be honest, it just shows you how much they screwed up the booking of Damon Kemp. I actually thought he was going to take the fall at one point. So that just shows you how much that just shows you how much Shawn Michaels screwed up Damon Kemp. Level Up wasn't really all that interesting last week. It was basically main event last week. This week's episode will be better, but I'll give that episode a C-. I thought the wrestling was okay. So see if you got any comments at the moment. We do not. Because we didn't share it ahead of time because Facebook won't let me share that stuff anymore. So let's go through Raw this week. As you know, you're doing the Raw notes very last minute again.
Fuck. Of course I am.
I sent you the text, so you should have them. Let's talk about it.
Not to have them.
Well, you delete the text. I'll just keep sending them to you, and we'll just sit here until you do them. So the biggest thing we'll talk about is for some reason, I think based on we've talked about this before. I think we talked about it on Tuesday before retro of WrestleMania 1, which you guys totally should check out. A lot of people, I think, thought based off this show that Vince was back right in the show. I think a lot of people think that because it's been on the news and everything like that. So of course, everything that was written on the show, everyone thought Vince wrote. So and it's I think a lot of people had the criticism of it because this Raw wasn't as good as other Raws and stuff. But I'll just say this right now. If it again, I think this is just going to happen anytime Triple H. I remember I talked about this with John Tutty back in December. He said he's going to miss everybody blaming Vince if something isn't good. And he doesn't have to miss that because I think anytime Triple H does something that the fans don't like, they're going to instantly blame it on Vince and him being back writing the shows and everything like that.
Well, the fact that they Vince back and they hate Triple H.
Yeah. I personally don't think I watched this show. You could say there's one segment on the show that you could say maybe Vince wrote because of it's the Brock Lesnar Omos thing, but we'll talk about why that's the case later on. But half of the stuff that happened on this show, we'll go through it as things go on. Definitely was not a Vince product. But why don't you take us through Raw and talk about the show and stuff like that?
So, Raw happened on February 27th, 2023, because it'd be weird if it happened in 2022.
Yeah.
The last Raw of February.
Yeah, it was.
2023. Your commentators are Kevin Patrick, who's very mediocre, but doesn't offend me like he offends other people. Yeah. And apparently the worst commentator of the year, according to the most rigged and stupid and dumb Observer newsletter fake bullshit I've ever seen in my life, Corey Graves. Yeah, so it's very bizarre seeing the Usos not together.
I know.
It just really is. It's just fucking bizarre because
the only times we have it is when one of them's been injured or something. Other than that,
but they're fully healthy.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Jimmy and Solo make their way to the ring. Of course, Bloodline's still over like crazy. Jimmy cuts a promo basically saying that the Bloodline's never going to break up. There's no cracks. There's no nothing. There's no issues. And a bunch of chants break out for Sammy and Cody, which is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
They said that the tribal chief will be there on SmackDown. And I don't think it was in this promo, but Cody said that he was going to be there on SmackDown. I think it was later on in the show, but he said he's going to be there to confront the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And then Jimmy calls on anyone to come out, and of course it's the Street Profits, because why wouldn't it be? One of the best tag teams in fucking WWE, period, right now, in all of wrestling. And if you don't agree with that, that's too bad. But they had fucking just a fantastic match.
You forgot too the Street Profits kind of promo, talk about how there's cracks in the bloodline also. And they were just ragged on Jimmy and Solo. And the one thing I love that I think Montez Ford brought up is he brought up the game because not the ratings, but like the overalls came out of what everyone's going to be in 2K23, which doesn't matter anyway, because you can just change them anyways. That's why we didn't cover them when we talked about the roster last week, because you can just change the overall anyways. But Montez Ford actually mentions that Jey Uso has like a high overall, and I think his overall is like the high, other than Roman's, the highest of the bloodlines. So I thought that was because that right there, by the way, is evidence that Vince didn't write the show, because Vince wouldn't have even mentioned that on the show.
No, they Jay's a 90 and Jimmy's an 89.
Yeah, so
main event Jey Uso. That's why.
Yeah,
but they had a fantastic match. Again,
Yeah,
like it's
so.
just I know it's Solo instead of Jay, but like just the chemistry is just it's there and it's never gonna go away. Just a great match. The Usos, I'm gonna call them that because they are the Usos, because they're brothers. Won the match.
Yes,
Solo
they did.
and Jimmy won. Crazy fucking match, really good. But then after, the Bloodline starts beating the crap out of the Street Profits, and who hits the ring? Mr. Kevin Owens.
Yeah, they did.
And he beats the crap out of both of them, and he stuns Solo. And Solo fucking completely no-sold it, which he should do.
Yes, he should.
Because he's literally Umaga, so he's literally nothing affects him, which I love.
I do too.
He starts swinging in a chair. Pretty awesome. Really good match. I loved it.
Yeah, I like this a lot. And I said I would respond Vince about if this was a Vince Raw or not. This was not Vince because I don't necessarily think he would give up on the Kevin Owens part of the storyline, but I definitely think if Vince takes control, like say he takes control tomorrow, that tag title program's not going to be even in the main event caliber. It's going to be like, because Vince, he doesn't like tag team wrestling. So this probably would have been like buried in the middle of the show, and like no one would have talked about it. So that's why
it would have been the second match on the card, not even the opener.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought this was a really good tag match here. And I like the Kevin Owens bit. This was awesome.
Next we had they showed replays of the Elimination Chamber and of Brock hitting Bobby in the cock when he was in the Hurt Lock. The rhyme does awesome.
Didn't even mean to do that.
Nope, it didn't. It just flows right out. The cock lock. So we come back from commercial break, and the VIP lounge is set up in the ring, and that can only mean one thing: we're getting a fucking MVP segment.
I don't even think the VIP lounge was fully set up either. I think they were like setting it up too,
which is very different because Brock came out first.
Yeah,
he just sat down and made himself at home, which was wicked funny. And then MVP came out, and he was very timid.
Yeah,
to go into the ring. And then Brock somehow convinced him to get in the ring, and they had a nice, peaceful chat.
They did.
They were going to drink to the WrestleMania match, which Brock accepted, of Omos versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, which, like I said, Brock accepted that challenge, and he pulls out a flask and starts drinking from the flask. And he tells MVP to drink from the flask, and MVP refuses to drink from the flask. He just said he's going to toast instead with champagne.
Yeah.
And Brock gives him the fucking flask, and MVP drinks from the flask. And I forget what happens after that. I think he spit it in his face. which then, immediately I was like, "Ooh, you just fucked up." He
He
beats
did.
the shit out of MVP, and F5s him, and then walks off.
He says,
Wow, Brock murdered him. He's dead.
"Yeah,
He's no longer with us. He killed him.
yeah."
As soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh my god, MVP is dead." He
I don't
is
think we're
going
ever
to kill
gonna.
him.
I don't think we're ever gonna see MVP again. Good segment here. So this one I would agree with. Maybe Vince wrote because I think we would have seen this segment anyways. Because Brock just does whatever he wants anyway. So like I think if he didn't say Vince was in charge, I would agree because because I think we would have gotten the segment because Brock just does whatever he wants anyways. So, however, that's not the case because we found out some new information. So apparently, we've got some more clarification about the Elimination Chamber match finish. I'll just talk about it now since we're on the topic. Apparently, I remember we questioned that finish because it didn't seem like a very Triple H-like finish. Brock was supposed to wrestle Bray, and I don't know who Bobby was going to wrestle because Brock was supposed to beat Bobby clean and move on to Bray, but Brock didn't want to do the match. So they had to basically change directions, and now it's Bobby versus Bray, and it's Brock versus Omos. So it kind of is what it is. I think the reason a lot of people think is because it said a higher ups backstage pitched the Omos match, and everyone thought it was Vince because it seemed like a Vince match to book. But I think the higher ups they were talking about was Brock Lesnar because while he's not like a higher ups, I think he's a big enough star to where you could call him like the higher ups. Because if there's a storyline he wants or doesn't want, it's either not or gonna happen. So, but I like this segment here. I don't personally love the idea of doing Brock Lesnar versus Omos, but Brock needs a win, and yeah, I think Brock throwing Omos around will make him look good. Since we're on the topic now too. This is why wrestling news media just sucks now. So I think yesterday it was reported that Brock Lesnar was potentially done with WWE. This was going to be like his last rodeo and stuff. However, that was not the case. You posted another article following up, basically saying that wasn't true. It was all bullshit, pretty much. Where Brock, I think, said he was just saying that, like I think his contract's just up or something, like something to that nature. But I didn't believe it anyways because we've heard for years anyways that Brock Lesnar's contract always comes up. But I always did say, I even said when I posted that article, I take this with a grain of salt because if the money's right, Brock's always going to come back, I think. So it doesn't really matter. But I like this segment here. Before I have you break down the next thing, do you want to give your thoughts on the two news stories? Brock not wanting to work with Bray and that news thing that came out yesterday of him being done. And then we found out it wasn't true.
I can kind of see why he didn't want to work with Bray because I felt like he might have, it might have hurt the character of Bray Wyatt. Yeah. I think that's why he turned that down. Was like, I don't want to do that. I know because it's hokey shit, but at the same time, like it would literally benefit neither Brock nor Bray to be in a program together.
Yeah.
Because someone's got to lose. It's not really benefiting Lashley either, but. Yeah, I'd rather it be Lashley than Brock because we know where that would go. A fucking 40-second match at WrestleMania is over.
Yeah.
Whereas Bobby can actually go in the ring and actually have a fucking long match. But it just didn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
For him to go after Bray to begin with, because again, like he's a serious wrestler. He's a serious person. He's not this. I mean, he comes off as goofy and funny. Sometimes he adds a little comedy to his character, but he's not like that's not his gimmick. His gimmick is an ass kick. He's an ass kicker, not kisser. Ass kicker. But yeah, like and with the other thing, I find it so funny how they just attach names to articles thinking that the fucking source wouldn't comment on it at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe that because PW Insider commented on it immediately and said that we did not at all say this, which I thought was hysterical. I'm like, you think they would fact checked beforehand, but no, they love their clicks, they like their fucking retweets, they like their likes, They're obsessed with it. So they write their shitty article or their shitty little excerpt and then attach a name to it, thinking that it's gonna be like that it's the proper information when it's not. I found it to be so fucking funny how PW Insider commented and said that, even tweeted out, said we never said this.
Yeah.
This is something we didn't say. Which was wicked funny. I was like, oh my god, that was literally like, after you posted that, I posted that chat like minutes later.
I know.
It was so funny. Because again, like, people you can attach someone's name to it and say, so-and-so said this, according to this. And it's never right. Especially if it's a random fucking Twitter account.
Yeah, we've had that for several instances lately where...
just don't believe anything that anyone fucking says on wrestling. Unless if it's a signing. Other than that, don't believe a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Especially after they said that WWE is going to be sold to the Saudis.
I know.
Catastrophe.
I know, yeah.
I've never trusted anyone ever again besides John Alba and Ariel Helwani. Those are the only two fucking people I trust in the fucking sports wrestling world. The only fucking two people.
Which is funny because Ariel Helwani he doesn't even report the wrestling news either. Like, he's an MMA news person.
He doesn't, but at the same time, if it's WWE news, he's going to hear it because of his close friendship with Nick Khan.
Yeah.
So that's why I trust him. Because he's going to say if it gets sold or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I trust him more than anyone. And John Alba too. Other than those two, everyone else can suck a fucking dick. I don't care about anyone else.
There you go.
So Kathy Kelly interviewed fucking Becky Lynch and Lita. Same fucking spiel about how they're going to leave as champions and that they respect each other, whatever. It's a fucking same. That would have happened in the Vince era too. It's the same fucking spiel that they always give. It's a useless backstage segment to, like, lengthen the time on the show. Cody Rhodes vs. Chad Gable is next with Otis. And this is interesting because back in, I think it was 2021, Cody wanted AEW to sign Chad Gable.
Yep.
So, again, this match, Cody does these matches sometimes, not like against Peter Avalon, who's a complete jobber. There should never have been a 5-minute match to begin with. This match deserved to go as long as it did. It could have gone a bit longer for my liking. This match was fantastic. Chad Gable got a lot of offense in, which he should have. And again, Cody made him look really fucking good. Because Chad Gable is one of the most underrated wrestlers in wrestling right now, period. And again, he can get, if you put him in a certain situation like this, with a little bit of build behind it, a little bit of story behind it, it's going to be really good.
For sure.
But as per usual, they're trying to, I don't know why they're trying to do this if the Shawn Michaels system is coming into WWE now, onto the main roster, where they're trying to break up fucking Otis and Chad Gable, which is stupid.
Yeah.
This is actually hilarious, but Otis is at ringside and Cody slides out and he's like, has his arm around him and they look into the crowd and shit. It was so loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It was awesome.
I think it'd be funny if, like, Otis joins Maximum Male Models. I think it'd be funny, and just because Otis is just genuinely a funny person.
Yeah.
And he could get the gimmick over, and it could get the desired reaction that they want because Otis is over. But it's just like, I'd rather just keep them as a tag team.
Yeah.
Again, don't listen to Shawn Michaels. Stop breaking them up, please. We don't need tag teams. They are perfectly fine the way they are. But Cody hits a Cody cutter, which looked kind of gruesome in a way. I don't like the Cody cutter because sometimes it looks really bad.
Yeah.
But he hits a crossroads and then wins.
Yeah.
Again, this match was fantastic. Go out of your way and watch it. It's a really solid matchup. But yeah, Cody wins as per usual. And this is where he says after the match that he's going to see Roman Reigns on SmackDown this Friday.
I really liked this match a lot. I thought it was very good. I like the bit at the. I like the finish where Cody like pointed out to like Otis because he was like looking for Maxine Dupree, so he's like, I think she's over there, and it was really funny. It was hilarious. I'm glad, in a sense, and with the benefit of hindsight, AEW didn't listen to Cody and sign Chad Gable because Chad Gable would be like stuck on Dark for like ever.
He'd be on Dark right now.
Yeah, maybe, and I say maybe there'd be a glimmer of hope that he would get into a program with Chris Jericho. Because I could see Jericho wanting to work with him, but maybe maybe a little title match with MJF or something. I don't know. Maybe I would say he joined the Blackpool Combat Club, but that's not really a thing anymore because they were the AEW at morons and gave Regal that opt out.
I mean, it's still a thing, but it's not really. That kind of heals now randomly.
But yeah. So this match though was really good. I really liked this match, and it set up really good to what happened on SmackDown last night. So I like this a lot.
There was rumors that that Chad Gable's friends were telling him to sign with AEW too.
Yeah,
2021 when it was brought up, when Cody brought up signing him, he actually had friends that of Chad Gable's that were actually telling him to go there. Thank God he didn't. He stuck it out, and look what happens.
Yeah,
everything's all good.
Everything's looking good. Yeah, I mean, I would say there is a bit of doom because of the potential breakup of Otis, and I would be kind of worried about Chad Gable a little bit, but I think he would still. I don't think he would be stuck on main event for ever though. I think he would be booked on Raw at least here. I definitely think he'd be like a hand that they would like say if you want to get somebody over, they would point to Chad Gable because he's that good. The only thing I don't want to happen, I can't believe I'm saying this, is I don't want him going to NXT. Because if he goes to NXT, unless he teams up with Damon Kemp or something, he's freaking doomed. Because
don't worry, they'll get broken up 2 weeks later anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll continue.
But yeah, I honestly think that Chad Gable would be like, if they did break up, I think he'd be competing for like the US or Intercontinental titles for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think that because he works so well under the Triple H regime in NXT. I don't think that Triple H would fuck him over and like bury him.
Yeah,
like if this was Vince, a million %, this would be a burial on Chad Gable and he go back to being Shorty G again.
Yeah,
like we don't want to see that ever again.
I would say maybe you would have seen this match in the Vince era because I think Cody would have pushed for it and I think Vince would have listened to Cody. But I think we wouldn't be sitting here and talking about how competitive it was, how it would have made Gable look good in the Vince era, though, just because Vince would have always went out of his way to bury Chad Gable.
Yeah, for some fucking weird reason. But I think Cody would have pushed for this match to go the way it would have, and I think he would have gotten his way, honestly, because Vince fucking like bent over backwards to make sure that Cody was happy. So this one's funny. So Byron Saxton is backstage interviewing Baron Corbin about his hard luck recently about JBL basically not coming back to the company anymore, leaving the company, and they get all of like maybe 30 seconds or 40 seconds into the promo, and then Byron Saxton goes, wait a minute, hold on. Kevin Owens comes in, and then Byron Saxton just runs away from fucking Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin's like, what the hell? He goes over and he interviews Kevin Owens, and he basically says what he's been saying, that he's gonna fucking kill the fucking the bloodline, not the Judgment Day. I wish he would, but he's gonna kill the bloodline, and he won't stop until he ends the bloodline.
This was awesome. I like this a lot. I hope they do this every week with Baron Corbin, where they interview him and he just gets cut off every week. That's gonna be hilarious. I
love for it to be like a this upcoming Raw, like he's doing an interview, and then he's interrupted by like some random jobber, and they have to go and like interview him instead, like an enhancement talent.
I think after WrestleMania, this would be a perfect way for Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona to come back. Like Baron Corbin's being interviewed. I mean, I think Matt Cardona / Zack Ryder will be a heel, but I think it's tough to talk about. But I think whoever debuts, whether it's like a blonde breaker or something, they should cut to like that person that returns or debuts or whatever. Be like, oh, well, we're gonna go over here real quick. Like
Braun Breakers or Matt Cardona's, like you see them walking in the background, like Kevin Owens was, and they just like, oh my god, it's in the camera cuts to like Braun Breaker or Matt Cardona. It's like, oh my god, it's Zack Ryder or in Braun Breaker. What are they doing here? Like type of thing, and then it's like. And it cuts like to the ring, and Baron Corbin's just pissed, and then that's the opponent would be Baron Corbin.
Yeah,
and then they beat him in fucking a minute and a half.
This is just hilarious that it keeps happening to Baron Corbin.
I fucking love it. I mean, I think his gimmick is so fucking stale right now that I think he needs a face turn. But at the same time, I don't think he wants to do it. I don't think he wants to be one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he's in limbo where he really needs a turn, but I don't think he wants to do it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this was hilarious. I love that this keeps happening to Baron Corbin. It's hilarious.
So next they did the WrestleMania Goes Hollywood thing with they've reenacted the Titanic with Montez Ford and Bianca Belair, and it was really funny. Just really, really funny.
I mean, how do we know what to reenact? They could have been there. We don't know that. We'll never have any proof now because Montez Ford was an idiot. He didn't back it up to the cloud. What are you doing?
He also dropped his phone in the water like an idiot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
what a shame. What a shame.
Yeah. Even though he has his phone later on in this show, I don't know what happened. Like, did he get a new phone that fast? Like, I don't know.
I guess so.
I can't wait to see the Brawling Boots one. That's going to be awesome. Or the Roman Reigns when he's like Joe Pesci. That's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, I can't wait till they. I want to see all. Like, I think the next one is Goodfellas is next. They're going to spoof. I think it's the Bloodline that's going to do it. So I think it's going to be really good. So next we have the Judgment Day is backstage. Not back. Yeah. And he says, and then Damian Priest basically says the same catchphrase he says all the time, all rise for the Judgment Day.
I didn't rise.
And I didn't rise either. I sat down. So I guess I'm bad. That he's going to try to kill me now.
Yeah.
But Dominic basically talks about his appearance on SmackDown. He basically says that Rey Mysterio is a loser. And just like he is in the ring, he's a loser. Yeah. Fuck you. You suck, Dominic. I hope you get embarrassed by your father. Because you're a bad son.
Yeah.
And
don't forget the biggest thing that Finn Balor challenged Edge to a match at WrestleMania.
I can't wait. That's gonna be exciting.
Well, Edge may not accept though. You don't know.
No. Do you think he's not gonna accept?
He may not be able to go. He got hit with a coup de grace 3 times last couple weeks ago. So how do you know
he got his ass kicked again for the 400th time in a row?
Yeah.
They need to write him off for a few weeks.
Yeah. I like this segment a lot, though. I like the Judgment Day. They really. It's still maddening to think that I remember I was saying this past summer, like during the Vince era and everything like that, like because the Judgment days I thought were definitely numbered during the Vince era. They were not going to they would not have lasted up till now. They would have broken up randomly. I even said
main event the next week.
Yeah, I even said after this feud with Edge, they're just going to go back to being nothing. And I think that was legitimately going to happen too. They were going to lose at SummerSlam. I know they did lose at SummerSlam, but like they really turned the Judgment Day around. They're like the best, other than the Bloodline. They're like the best faction on the roster now and stuff. So I really like them.
They had that scumbag Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah,
I think
that's what
speak with disdain every time he has to talk about Dominic.
I think that's what turned the faction around was the addition of Dominic, to be honest, which is weird.
For sure.
I mean, they were starting to do better anyways, but I think once Dominic got in there, that's when things kind of started to turn around. I think
because Dom's the only heat magnet.
Yeah, I mean, Finn's pretty good as a heel. Rhea's been really good as a heel. I think we talked about the only one he doesn't feel out of place. That isn't doing shit as Damian Priest. Like,
He's been in a few matches, but it's not like he's
yeah,
been in the tag title gauntlet. He's been in Elimination Chamber, but he hasn't done much.
yeah,
He's just been sort of like the heavy, which I don't
yeah,
think like. I mean, it suits him obviously, but like I don't think it's the best utilization for him.
yeah,
He's too talented for that.
yeah. Maybe he'll turn face and like leave the group or something.
He could. I just don't think that would be a good idea either.
Yeah. But anyhow,
I think the more logical thing would be Dominic turning face. Be surprise everyone.
maybe it was a swerve all along that he did this to, you know. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know. I feel like Tom turns face, so it can't be the thing that it was a swerve all along because it'd be kind of because it doesn't make the Mysterio feud make sense either. So, like, I think he has to generally turn babyface. Like, it can't be like it was a swerve all along type of thing. And the Vince era, that totally would have happened too, by the way, where like it was a swerve all along, but then watch WrestleMania 2002, the main event, where they tried to make it a swerve all along. That swerve made no sense in 2000. So
yeah.
But anyhow, continue.
So Rhea Ripley and Charlotte have a segment. She basically says that she's going to see her at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Then Finn Balor challenges Edge to a match at WrestleMania. I'm hearing rumors it's going to be Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Could change, but I'm hearing it's Hell in a Cell. Which would be fucking awesome.
I hope it's the old cell too, not the red one.
It's probably going to be the red one.
Yeah.
I think the red one is the permanent one now.
Yeah.
Backstage, they have Otis is pacing outside the trainer's office, and Maxime Dupree basically walks up to him with Maximum Male Models and said they're going to be in his corner tonight for his match.
Yep.
Which he agreed to. Which, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I don't mind him being in it. Because again, he's a comedy guy, but I like the fucking tag team.
I know, I do too.
And Chad Gable, I don't know. It is what it is. If they do it, they do it. But I would like to see them ascend Chad Gable, push him upwards.
Yeah, the biggest thing I would like it to be a thing where, Otis denies it and Chad Gable and Otis turn babyface from it.
That would be,
and they go up
more interesting.
And they would go up against Maximum Male Models and obviously win. I don't think the Maximum Male Models would.
Maximum Male Models win in a squash. That'd be the worst thing ever. Next is Carmella versus Asuka. Yeah, this match is actually pretty good. I
liked it.
And Asuka wins by submission. Which again, that's the right thing to do. She just had a big character change. I don't think that they fucking.
Yeah.
I don't think that she should have lost. So she put in an Asuka lock and she won. Nice little match.
Yep, and then Corey Graves makes sure to mention that before this, she'd even won that Asuka had never beaten Carmella in a one-on-one match. So that definitely changed after that.
Yeah.
I like the match.
I've also seen people complain online about Corey Graves recently about how, like, he's gushing over Carmella all the time. I'm like, it's his fucking wife.
Yeah,
and he's a heel.
Babyface
doing that if he was babyface doing that to a babyface Carmella, it wouldn't make any sense. He's a fucking heel. He's supposed to be irritating.
They never said anything about it when Taz was healing it up on Team Taz anytime they had matches. Not a word.
Not a fucking peep. Not a fucking peep.
Yeah.
Not a fucking sound.
Yeah.
But since Corey Graves can't talk about his actual real life wife that is wrestling on the show.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's just stupid. But Asuka gets on the microphone and shouts a lot of things in Japanese.
Yeah.
Like just goes on a tangent in Japanese, and then Bianca comes out, and you can't spell WrestleMania without EST. And then
I'm over that catchphrase. That catchphrase is stupid.
She's the EST. She just basically took words out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Said, hey, there's ES&T in WrestleMania, and you can't have that without WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But yeah, they Carmella then knocks Bianca to Asuka, and then she gets mad.
Yeah.
That part was kind of useless.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it set up a match for next week, but
I would have liked that
they,
to happen on the go home.
Yeah, they clearly wanted
not fucking 4 weeks out from WrestleMania.
The one thing I will say I'm happy about is Triple H is showing great relent with having a lot of these people not get into like a physical altercation going before Mania. They have Asuka and Bianca haven't touched each other yet.
Which is good. They shouldn't.
Yeah, Rhea and Charlotte haven't, even though they could because we've seen them wrestle before. And as we'll talk about later, Roman and Cody haven't. So the only people that's really gotten into like a physical altercation with each other, like going into Mania, is like maybe like Sammy, KO versus the Bloodline. Even though that match hasn't been set up yet, but that's all fine because we've seen them get into an altercation anyways with each other. So, and you know the selling point isn't even that anyways. The selling point is what's everyone going to do? What's all the characters and stuff going to do? So that's great relent by Triple H to not have all the people at Mania get into a physical altercation. Because the big thing I remember in the Vince era, I remember they did mixed match challenge, and like the go home week before Mania was supposed to be like Asuka versus Charlotte. We hadn't seen them mix up once. And on the go home show of Mania, they mixed up in the mixed match challenge and completely gave, and it wasn't, you could say, well, that was on the network. No, it was on Facebook Live, if you remember. They were doing that stuff on Facebook Live when that was a thing. So
never again.
Yeah. But anyhow, I like this match here. Good stuff.
So the after that we had the WrestleMania edition of Miz TV.
I thought it was Piper Niven versus Candice LeRae next.
Yeah, they were hyping up other things for later on in the show.
Oh, okay.
The tag match and then the Miz TV thing. I don't know. Again, this match just seems like Piper Niven versus Candice LeRae just seems like it was just thrown on the card.
Yeah, it did.
Candice LeRae wins, which is nice, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't see why they had it. I don't know where they're going with this whole fucking storyline with Nikki Cross. I just don't see it. I don't even know the hell it's going. Because I don't know where it's originally. I think they were supposed to team up.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's just like it's going in like 3 different directions.
This match was flat and it ended out of nowhere. And I'm not sure where this is going. I'm not completely lost on that storyline yet, but I don't know where it's going.
Johnny Gargano's interviewed. He talks about Otis challenged him. The Judgment Day shows up, and Gargano, and so I don't care. I really do not care.
I liked it actually. I mean, because I liked it because we got the announcement of Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor, and that made me care because I'm going to be at that Raw that they wrestle at, so that made me care. So, but yeah, it was weird because it's not like Johnny Gargano's feuding with anybody. It seemed like they were trying to set up Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest out of this, which is just not going to happen at Mania. It's probably going to be like on a wall or something, but whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. Like that's fine. I don't mind that. But now we have the WrestleMania edition of Miz TV, and it's basically, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but like, Seth just beats him up, steals his phone, and hilariously unlocks Miz's phone with his face.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And FaceTimes Logan Paul, and he says he's going to kick his ass, basically.
Yeah. I like this a lot.
Bitch at the end, which was funny because it wasn't censored.
Yeah. I like this a lot. Miz also said he's going to be the host of WrestleMania. And yeah, Seth Rollins challenges Logan Paul to come face to face with him. And I like that they did this. We never really see a segment like this. This definitely was not a Vince thing. They would have done the FaceTime thing at all or anything like that.
Oh no, yeah, they would. They would definitely. They wouldn't have done that part.
Yeah, I like this a lot. This is different because I thought what was going to happen was Seth was just going to go on like Logan Paul's podcast, which would have been kind of weird. That wouldn't have really made any sense. So I like the way they set this up. Seth Rollins also threw shade at Jake Paul because he had just lost like his UFC or boxing fight before this. So yeah, I like this a lot. It was just really good.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. It was a really good segment. And then Kathy Kelly interviews Damage Control.
Yeah.
And they say they're the greatest champions, blah blah blah, fucking same stupid shit heel champions say all the time. And then Austin Theory walks up and says that Damage Control are great champions, but he is the greatest.
He is.
Still, people only want to talk about Cena. And yeah, it's basically do a match at WrestleMania with Cena. Because John's going to be there on Raw on Monday, which is
I'll be there.
Hometown boy, coming home. Love it.
Yeah.
My hero growing up.
I like these segments a lot, especially the Theory segment. It was really good.
I love that John's coming back, and I don't know how long he's going to be back for before now and WrestleMania. But I wonder if it's going to be part-time or full-time. I don't know. They really haven't set like a schedule for him.
Yeah. Because originally
be there the last few weeks to set up the match.
Yeah. Because originally he was meant to face Logan Paul at Mania. The reason why that match got nixed is because Logan Paul needs to rehearse his matches ahead of time. And obviously because of Cena's Hollywood schedule, he doesn't have time to like do that really. So that's why they changed the WrestleMania plans. Since Logan Paul versus Cena would have been awesome, mainly for the casuals and stuff, and it would have gotten a huge buzz on their end. But I actually kind of like the change better because I don't really know who the fans would have known. They probably would have rooted for Cena, but I feel like it would have been easier to turn Logan Paul against Rollins because a lot of people like Rollins more than Cena, mainly because he's there every week and everything like that.
And everyone hates Logan Paul, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and then Cena and Theory makes sense because they wanted to do this match back at SummerSlam, but Cena couldn't do the match. And I'm glad they waited now because Austin Theory now is a much more well-rounded character and performer in this era.
Yeah, much more.
Yeah.
Much more well-rounded performer and a younger version of himself.
Yeah, so this would be awesome.
That's so crazy.
I really can't wait.
He looks like John.
Yeah, I really can't. You know John Cena's going to mention that too next week if they have a confrontation, which was going to be awesome. And you know, I won't talk about it, but some people actually say that Cena should win at Mania. I don't think he would. I don't think he should, but some people say that he should win at Mania. And like whoever debuts, whether that's like a Jay White, Matt Cardona, which I think that would be cool. Or whoever gets caught up in NXT should beat Cena the next night for the U.S. title. Like Cena has an open challenge, and that's who calls up. I know they probably want Jay White to be the guy to do it because it would create buzz, but I would prefer it to be Matt Cardona because of the history. Him and Cena's history together.
I would love that. Either way, because then you can have Cardona. But if you said, if you want Cardona to be a heel, it would make much more sense if Jay White did it. Because then you could have Jay White versus Austin Theory as the feud going on. Maybe through the summer. But
this is I say why do it with Matt Cardona because this way he could turn heel immediately. Because the thing is, Matt Cardona, if he's going to come in, he can't be Matt Cardona as a heel immediately because no one's going to really react to it because they haven't seen it in the big stages really. If you have Zack Ryder come out as Zack Ryder first to face Cena for the belt, and he turns heel on Cena, I think people will immediately understand what's going on because he's doing it and it would be a great rub for Cena to do that for Mac. Because I love the Matt Cardona heel gimmick.
I do too. It's been great.
But we haven't seen him go all the way with it because GCW doesn't know what they're doing. I think he stands out there because he's not like a hardcore guy.
We got glimpses of it. I thought he I thought he was fantastic in GCW.
Yeah.
They genuinely hated him.
Yeah. And then he did it in he finally brought it to Impact, which I think has been the biggest stage that he's done it at. And unfortunately, I think right when he turned, he got hurt. So and his time with Impact kind of ended a little bit. So he didn't really get to do it much at Impact. And he got to do it pretty well in NWA, but because he got injured, I think we talked about it last time. He got buried, like Billy Corgan buried Matt Cardona. Like he's still there now doing the feud with Bully Ray and things like that. But Billy Corgan I think Billy Corgan just pisses at Cardona that he got injured while he was champion, which I guess is fair enough because he structured that spot in the match. But it's like, why? Like Matt Cardona can draw him money, and I really want this Matt Cardona because he's been great as a heel, but we really haven't seen him be able to go full on with this heel gimmick. We really need to see it, and I think WWE's he could do it in AEW, but I just don't think. I'm not saying I don't think AEW would know what to do with it, but I just don't see it fit in an AEW. It would probably actually would fit in AEW, to be honest, because he's not like a flippy guy or anything like that. But I would just prefer to see it in WWE. I feel like him going to WWE just feels right too. Like he'll be home and everything. And it doesn't make sense to him now if we go to AEW because Cody's not there anymore. So
that's what I'm saying. Like I think he should maybe do a tag match with Cody.
Yeah,
and then turn on Cody.
That would be cool.
Like they have a tag match that closes out Raw one night. Like maybe have him be a face like a month or two. Have him get into a tag program with Cody.
Yeah,
maybe the tag titles per se. And then they do that, and then they have the Cardona turn, and he beats the shit out of Cody, and basically gets on the mic and says, "Hey," like basically goes, "I'm Matt Cardona. I'm not Zack Ryder. Matt Cardona is who I am."
Basically, you're doing the MJF Cody thing from when AEW first started, pretty much, where MJF started as Cody's friend. And the beauty part about it, too, is you can really play this up on television because while the MJF Cody thing was good, they didn't have TV, so no one really saw them like together as friends, really, unless you like watch the YouTube slips. You can really
YouTube or Brandy's like shot, like the
shot of Brandy
with shot of Brandy.
Yeah.
But like you didn't see very much unless they posted it like on social media. But like this, you could easily do it Raw and on SmackDown. That would be on both shows.
Yeah,
it would make so much sense.
But yeah, continuing.
So next we had Bobby Lashley versus Elias. He got squashed. I don't think that they know what the fuck to do with Elias. He's not over anymore.
Yeah. Not a Triple H guy, if you remember, because when he was Elias, when he was this gimmick in NXT, the almost over thing he did was Al Vagabundo, to be honest. So that doesn't help, too, that he's not really a Triple H guy.
But yeah, he's just not over, and it's just not working.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him personally, but he's just so lost. Great that he's on television, but like, just don't get it. I just don't.
Yeah.
Lashley won with the Hurt Lock, and then after Lashley basically said that he's done playing fun. He's done with the fun and games, and then he's done with the kid games.
Yeah.
And then he goes to leave, and then Bray Wyatt brought back the Muscle Man dance.
That was awesome.
That popped me like crazy. I was laughing my ass off. And then Lashley got pissed off and then left, and then they flashed the Y6 logo on the Titantron, then it faded to black.
The match was pretty okay. Rick Boogs was watching the match backstage, so they're doing something between Rick Boogs and Elias. And I'll mention this now, too, because they did like a backstage segment doing the exclusive with them. And it led to like Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali having one where Mustafa Ali said that he was going to grant Dolph Ziggler a favor. And it's teased like they're going to have a match, but we'll talk about it when we do our Raw predictions. I don't think they're going to actually have a match next week. I think Mustafa Ali is going to swerve him or something. Yeah. Well, he's a tweener at the moment, but he's clearly he's more on the heel side at the moment. So
it's DDP. It's DDP 2001. It was what it is.
But yeah, I like that. But yeah, I like, to be honest, like while the Bobby Lashley Bray Wyatt thing's thrown together, because let's be real, it is. I don't necessarily. They clearly wanted to have Bray Wyatt have a match at Mania, and I think it's too soon to do like anything with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy having a match. They haven't done enough to warrant a match yet, really. So, or a tag title one, because they could go for the tag belts, but they have that's not a storyline. That would be a Vince thing to do, to build this storyline with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and say, nah, we're going to do Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy versus the Usos. That would be a Vince thing.
As the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Night two.
One.
Not even night one. Night two. Roman versus Cody kicks off the show.
Yeah. But yeah, continue.
So, backstage, Adam Pearce is looking very frustrated at Chelsea Green because she's in the middle of this Karen gimmick, which is actually over and really funny.
It's awesome.
She's just yelling at him, just being a Karen. It's funny. And then Carmella walks in and says she wants to face Bianca Belair next week, which Adam Pearce grants it. And then Adam Pearce walks off. And it looks like Carmella and Chelsea have formed a team, it looks like.
Yeah.
By them slightly holding hands together.
I actually am a fan of them forming a tag team together. I think actually it can work. It reminds me a lot of Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green, except it might be an unpopular opinion. I actually think this could be a better team than Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo, just because I actually think I know Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green are like friends in real life, but I think Carmelo and Chelsea Green will work better off each other, especially with Chelsea being the Karen gimmick. I think they'll work better off each other. So
now we have Otis with Maxime Dupri, Marseille, and Mansoir versus Johnny Wrestling. Not much really to this match, but Johnny wins with one final beat, which again he should have won.
Yeah,
he really needs to be built up. So I mean, the match was decent.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. I think Johnny Gargano's in limbo at the moment, not because they don't know what to do with him. I just think all the top guys that he can feud with are in pretty big spots right now, like pretty big programs. I think him getting that shoulder injury really screwed him up, I think, because I think he would have had something to do, but because he was out of action for a few weeks, he's not given much to do. I like the fact that they're keeping him strong, though. He had a good performance in the Rumble. He had a good performance in the Chamber. In the Vince era, he would have lost this match easily. He wouldn't even be in the company, to be honest. But I like that they did the segment later on where Dexter Loomis tried to kidnap Marseille. Like, that was Marseille's reaction to it was awesome. Like, I wish he could have done it to Mansoir, because Mansoir's reaction would have been even funnier. Like, Dexter Loomis just popped up out of nowhere and just tried to kidnap him. It's like, relax, Dexter, relax.
That was wicked funny. He's like,
yeah,
he was horrified.
Yeah.
So Kathy Kelly is interviewing Paul Heyman next, and she basically asked Paul Heyman for his comment on Cody Rhodes. He says this is his favorite time of the year, and that Rhodes will confront Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Kelly says Rhodes never said he'd confront him. Heyman says Rhodes will confront Reigns, and Reigns will confront him.
I actually like that they did this segment, because they would not have done this segment in the Vince era. They would have I like how Paul Heyman's like, clearly he's in confronting Roman Reigns. There's no other other reason he's coming to SmackDown. Like,
why the fuck else would he go to SmackDown then if he's not going to confront Roman Reigns?
In the Vince era, he wouldn't have even confronted Roman Reigns. He would have had like a match with like Angel Gaza or something, and like not even mention Roman Reigns. That would have happened too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he would have had a match with Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman would have won.
Yeah. Maybe. Continue.
Next is the main event of
Not the show, because you're still here.
Exactly. I could have just left right now, but you wouldn't know. The main event of the evening is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship title match, or championship belt match. Belt wear on your pants. As Vince would always used to say. The belts are on the line here. Becky Lynch and the returning her first match in a year. Her first match because she had that run against Becky.
Yeah, she
I
did.
think it was a year ago. Her first match in a year versus Damage Control.
They got the power. They control the stage. They control the game.
and their shitty theme song, comprised of Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, with Bayley at ringside.
Yeah.
They towards the end of the match, this match is fantastic. I will just say this right away. Really good.
Awesome.
I would say it's fantastic. It was good. I felt like Lita was a bit slow in this match, but it was her first match in a year.
Yeah.
Nothing really for her. Nothing felt like for me like that was like crisp enough.
Yeah.
But I think with time, and she'll get back into the swing of things again. But she wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Luckily it was a tag match, because I don't think
Yeah.
she would have been able to do a one-on-one match.
Near the end of the match, they had a near fall after a double powerbomb by Damage Control on Becky, and then Trish comes out. She hits the Fez press, and then she basically just beats the crap out of Bayley to even the odds. This ending, I felt like took 45 minutes to do.
I know.
It was wicked slow.
Yeah.
Lita's on the top rope, and I think it was it? I think Dakota was on the apron.
I think Dakota took the pin because
oh no, Io was on the apron.
Yeah.
And I think it was
somebody got disarmed by
okay. So it was Dakota. Dakota was on the ring apron with the disarm her after they had kind of fought down. And Lita's just standing there, and Io's in the ring just laying down.
Yeah.
Moving around. And then Lita finally hits the fucking moonsault after what felt like an eternity on the top rope.
Yeah.
And then she pins and they win. She pins Io, and they win the Women's Tag Team Championships, which made a whole lot of sense. They're not bringing back Lita to lose. I mean, that was obvious. The second that they announced the match for next week, it was pretty obvious they were winning. Lita and Becky. But I thought it was pretty awesome. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I liked it. Yeah. It wasn't just, I think too, the one thing you didn't say, the reason why this match took forever too is it wasn't like Trish came back out too and they won. Like, I think too, Lita hit a move. It was kicked out of it. And then like it took like the match still went. It should have been Trish comes out, match, like the match should have ended from that point pretty much. Right when Trish.
Yeah, because instead of that, they just kind of extended it a bit longer than they should have.
Yeah.
But I get that ending just like it took me out of it because I was like, do it.
Yeah.
I felt like she was standing on the top rope for years.
Yeah, but this match was good. I like the ending of the match. And this definitely, I still don't know what's going to be the match. I still think it's going to be Damage Control versus Becky, Lita, and Trish in that 6-woman tag, because you're not going to bring back Trish if you're not doing that 6-woman tag. It does kind of suck we had to have this here. Like, I wish it would have been the previous week because it would have been in Canada. Trish, she still got a big pop, obviously, because it's Trish Stratus, but she would have got an even bigger pop. But obviously, it wasn't to be. I like this. I like Becky and Lita being the tag champs because it gets a high profile on the tag titles. I don't think they're going to be champs for long. I could see them losing the tag titles. Maybe not at Mania, but after, like on the Raw after Mania. To be honest, I actually think the team that could beat them is going to be Chelsea Green and Carmella. I think they're going to form some type of alliance in a few weeks. And the camera gimmick is going to be used to get her that tag title shot. And they usually like to do a shock title change, like about every year. That will be the shock title change next year, where we Chelsea Green and which would kind of suck because Becky would have to take the loss in that. I kind of hope Lita takes the loss in that because Lita could. I think if Becky gets pinned in that match, it would kind of hurt Becky Lynch stock a little bit. If Lita gets pinned, it won't hurt her too much because she's already a legend anyways, and she'll be off TV afterwards, so people will forget pretty much. But Yeah, I like this. The reason why I also don't know the women's tag title direction is because they also have Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler on SmackDown doing their thing as a team and stuff too. But we still don't know. But yeah, I like this match a lot. I like the finish. It was the right match to main event. I really don't know. The only other thing that could have main evented this show was honestly the Usos match with the Street Profits. But I think they wanted that as the opener because of the Kevin Owens thing. So that's Raw. Let's do letter grades. I'm gonna give this Raw like a B minus. I still thought it was a good show. I think this was definitely the worst show that happened in the Triple H era that wasn't NXT. And I think, this is why people think Vince is running things. We talked about this. This is gonna happen sometimes. It wasn't like they were sticking up the joint all of a sudden. They had like 5 Raws in a row, I think, where like they were epic Raws. You're not gonna have like classic Raws every week. This is gonna happen sometimes, and this was still good. But I'm looking forward to next week mainly because I'll be there. So I'm probably gonna like Raw better than you next week, regardless, unless like a media strikes down Raw, like the TNT Stadium, or like they tell us we have to leave because we're being too loud or something. But what would you grade Raw as a letter grade?
I give it a B. I thought it was really a really good show. Not like a great show, just a good show.
Yeah. Now let's go through the worst wrestling show every week, at least in WWE stands anyways, and that's NXT. I will say this before because we crap on it. This NXT I think was the best NXT that they've done. I'll mainly say because I thought the wrestling was better this week. But we had NXT. It took place on February 28th, 2023. The commentators were Booker T and Vic Joseph. They were pretty terrible. I feel like we always say terrible. It's mainly Booker that's terrible, not Vic. Vic usually does a pretty good job. It's just that Booker's so terrible that I think he brings down Vic because I think there's points where Vic tries to ask Booker a question and he never answers his question. It takes him forever to answer it because he's so like. And it gets worse, especially during one of the women's matches on the show. We had the intro where they broke down everything that happened last week. Then we had the NXT North American Championship Open Challenge. They did something different here, which I kind of like, where all the wrestlers were fighting backstage to like get to the title. It seems good in theory to do this because you would typically think they would do this. However, the backstage brawl was freaking terrible. It was very clunky, and I think the reason why it was also bad is because it's in the Performance Center, and I think the Performance Center, like the rooms and stuff there, are like so condensed and like you would feel claustrophobic standing in them, and they're trying to have all these wrestlers fight backstage, and it just doesn't work. They did some things to further other storylines, which were good, I guess. They had Drew Gulak, Hank Walker, and Charlie Dempsey go at it. Sucks. That's the only sight you saw of Gulak and Dempsey this whole show. And Hank Walker inadvertently attacked Axiom, which I mentioned that because they do something with it later. I don't even know if it was inverted. I think he was just trying to break through and try to get to the title thing. Blake and Enofe nearly got there, and they tried playing rock, paper, scissors to see who could get the title match. But Dabba-Kato showed up and laid him out. And then before he could get there, Apollo Crews attacked him. And this was cool. Eventually, Nathan Fraser, this is the first time we've seen him since Halloween Havoc, which is crazy. It's been that long. He jumps over the pile somehow, and he ends up in the ring. That was awesome. I like that.
That was cool. I love that.
I didn't expect it either. I'm going to be honest. I thought this was Tyler Breeze because the attire he was wearing was like the Tyler Breeze would have worn. I thought this was Tyler Breeze at first. But no, it was still cool. It was Nathan Fraser. So they had the North American title match. They have a fantastic match. That is one of the highlights of NXT every week is the North American Championship division, mainly because of Wes Lee. He does a really good job as champion. And yeah, they put on a spectacular match where eventually Wesley wins with that backflip Insecurity out of the corner. They really tore the house down. It's one of those matches you just have to go watch. It honestly reminded me of the old black and gold NXT. That's how good this match was. What did you think of the brawl and the match itself? What did you think of it?
I thought the brawl was okay, just a little confined, a little congested. Just based on the fact that they were all in that one little area. But yeah, the Nathan Fraser versus Wesley match was great. It was so good. That finish is fucking nasty. That fucking backflip Pele kick. Holy shit, I loved it.
They do kind of ruin this match a little bit because of what they do with Nathan Fraser later in the show, but I'll talk about that later. At least in my opinion, anyways. Maybe not. The match isn't self-ruined. They just ruined Nathan Fraser, I think, later on. Then we had Jordan Devlin promo. Remember I said I've decided something? I was actually thinking of calling him his new name, but I'm like, no, I'm not doing that yet. I am getting close, though. I am considering it. So that's progress right there. That I am.
No, that isn't. It isn't progress. You're regressing.
But basically, he's having like eye surgery, pretty much, showing like the damage of his eye and stuff like that. And he talks about how the pain that he suffered is the pain that he's going to give Ilya Dragunov when they have their match. Something tells me they're going to have some type of last man standing match or something, because he mentioned a lot. He mentioned a lot that he's going to be like the last man standing at the end of this. So I think,
it's an eye for an eye.
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, I like this. And then I'll just break down these 3 segments. Brooks and Jensen have a backstage segment, and yeah, I wrote Brooks and Jensen. I mixed up Brooks Jensen's names together. It's actually Briggs and Jensen. To be easy, so yeah, apparently it's Brooks and Jensen.
Let's go.
But
Jensen.
Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen is all upset that him and Kiana James' relationship kind of took a backseat after what happened a couple of weeks ago. We know what happened. I'm not repeating it. So Josh Briggs tells him to get his head in the game, and they go to leave, and Brooks Jensen, you could just tell doesn't have his head in the game. Every time I say "get your head in the game," I think of that song "Get Your Head in the Game." I think it was like a Nickelodeon sports thing where they would try to tell you to get your head in the game. And it was always like an advertisement to get you to go outside. And I always remember it was like Earth Day when they would like shut Nickelodeon off all day for like 3 hours. And I always said that because it would always rain that day, and you couldn't go outside that day. So they always shut Nickelodeon off the day it rained. I'm like, what? I hate that. But anyhow. That, by the way, that segment, what I just said right there showed how much that segment was an impact on me. That I just talked about how Nickelodeon shut their station off all day. Then Tyler Bate has a video package just showing everything. I think this is the same video package they showed like right before he showed back up again recently, except he added that promo when he cut last week. Then Hank Walker has an interview. He talks about how disappointed he was he didn't get to the North American title match, and Axiom comes up and he takes offense that he was attacked by Hank Walker. Hank Walker tries to apologize, but Axiom says something like he wouldn't have won the belt anyways, which was weird for Axiom to say that because he's meant to be a babyface and he's saying that to another babyface. It would make more sense if it was a heel saying it to him, but it leads. They go to get into a fight, and one referee somehow is able to able to get them to not fight. Like he's able to hold them back. That didn't make any sense. So it leads to a match later. Whatever. What did you think of all these segments right here?
Brooks and Jensen. Brooks and Jensen. There we go. Briggs and
You're
Jensen
even doing it now.
Don't even fucking care. They're gonna break up anyway. Just like every fucking tag team in NXT, they're gonna break up.
Yeah.
There's gonna be no tag team division anymore, so that'd be nice. But yeah.
And then Sean's gonna do it on the main roster.
Hank Walker and Axiom. It's okay. I mean, I didn't get it. Like, didn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
Why would you be mad that someone you accidentally got hit and he apologized?
Yeah.
Said he was sorry, and then he got pissed off at him. And then they have a match, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't care enough about it.
Yeah. Then we had Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen versus Indusher for some reason with Jinder Mahal inside. Brooks Jensen's not into this. I don't even think Josh Briggs and Jensen got an entrance. I think they were already in the ring, I'm pretty sure. Or it might have been the other way down where Indusher didn't get an entrance. I remember somebody didn't get an entrance. Knowing Shawn Michaels booking, it was probably Indusher that didn't get the entrance because they ended up winning. They go to do that spot that Big Bossman and Bo Buchanan used to do all the time where they do the lariats on the outside. And Brooks Jensen's like a second too late. This was actually meant to happen. It wasn't a botch or anything. And then eventually Brooks Jensen tags in even though he's been dominated the whole time. And it leads to Indusher winning when Veer Mahan hits that like clothesline on him. And I think that clothesline's meant to be powerful because that was like the Army used to use pitching in baseball. I guess there is a tie-in with that, but I just don't care. It's Shawn Michaels booking. They didn't say that, so I'm just making guesses myself. And if I have to make guesses myself, that shows the booking's not good. Afterwards, it's really weird. So they're showing this replay. Vic Joseph's talking, and Jinder Mahal's clearly cutting a promo, and all the like he's cutting his promo like during the replay, and Vic Joseph's like talking over him. It was really bad production right here. Jinder Mahal though says that he challenges the Creed brothers to a 6-man tag next week. You could say this match has had some build behind it, but this 6-man tag just feels really random. It doesn't make any sense at all. But I guess it does make sense, but it's just so badly put together that it feels random. But what did you think of this match right here? I personally didn't care about any of this.
I didn't care about any of it.
Next, Nathan Frazier gets interviewed, and this is where they ruin him because I know you can say they did this. We talk about they did this with Baron Corbin, but at least with Baron Corbin, it's meant to be a joke. And the bit is that he doesn't matter. Here, this guy just came back, and they have the interview set up, but we hear commotion going on in the parking lot. Which reminds me, by the way, I believe when Dexter Lumis went to kidnap Marseille, I like that Corey Graves made a joke that this isn't the PC because everything always happens in the PC parking lot for some reason. But they run off, and we see that Wendy Chu's been attacked in the parking lot the same way that Nikita Lyons was attacked. And coincidentally, who do we see there? None other than Katana Chance, who I have to call that now, by the way, because I screwed up a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Let's go.
And Caden Carter, coincidentally, are there. I didn't like this at all. They clearly did this because Shawn Michaels finally wised up and realized that Nikita Lyons isn't going to be back right away, so they're throwing Wendy Chu in there. But this instantly made Nathan Frazier not matter. Like, could we not have done this like later in the show or something? Like, this was Nathan Frazier's first promo back, and this made him feel like just another guy on the roster. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't give a fuck about the blandest tag team of all time. I don't care enough about Wendy Chu, and I just don't care.
Yeah,
I just do not fucking care enough. Next,
Gigi Dolan comes out and cuts a promo. It started off bad, but then it got better on when she started talking about like a personal life and stuff like that. It ended up being like a killer promo. Just go watch it for yourself. I'm not going to repeat it. However, I said in the chat because next week it's going to be a match between JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. We'll do predictions later. I said in the chat, Gigi Dolan does this killer promo. JC Jane's fucking winning next week. I just know that's happening next week. You know that's going to happen, too, that JC Jane's totally winning next week.
Oh,
what did you... Again, though, I just don't think Gigi Dolan... Like, as good as this promo was, she's just not ready to be on her own yet, though. What do you think? What do you think of this?
I love the promo. Out of the two, I think she's the most... I think she's the most ready.
Yeah. I don't know if she's... I don't know. I don't know if she is ready yet, though. That doesn't mean... Again, they should have... They should have just had Chelsea Green team with them. They clearly, like we've been talking about for months, wanted to break up Toxic Attraction because they don't want people thinking about Mandy Rose anymore. So, but then it gets worse. I think why I'm completely not bought into this promo because she's losing next week. It's a complete fact she's losing next week. Unless Shawn Michaels doesn't book next week, she's losing. But he's booking next week. He might not book though. He's going to be on the show next week. He might realize, okay, I got to prepare for that. If Triple H books, I think she'll win next week. But we'll see. Then we had an awful segment here. So we have Chase U. They're at the college. And everybody's talking. We see Duke Hudson's talking to a couple of the students. I think the students change every week, or at least every time they do this, because it's clearly either what happens here is maybe people are paying off people to go to classes for them, or some students just don't show up to classes, so they just have to go with what they have. But the students definitely aren't the same every time. They're definitely different, I think, every time. But we see what's her name come in? The person, Thea Hale. No, is it not Thea Hale? Is it Thea Hale? I don't even know. I always forget to write down the name sometimes. But I think it's
Thea Hale's in Chase U.
I think I said I don't know why that didn't sound right, but she's not like as peppy and stuff because Shawn Michaels wants to ruin all good characters because she's been kidnapped and stuff. I hope she got that essay done about John Cena. What a good student, by the way, to show up even though all that stuff's been happening. What a good student. I mean, you definitely wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. I don't think James would have done that with all the mental stuff, being kidnapped by Joe Gacy and everything like that. What a good student she is.
Great student.
And I hope she got all the homework done. But yeah, Duke Hudson apologizes for what he said about them last week. And it's really weird because I think Duke Hudson was talking shit too about like the university and what's his name? The professor, or like that's meant to be the it's Chase, isn't it Chase U? Not Chase U, but Andre Chase. He was like standing on the podium, like he was watching this the whole time. And you could say like because professors and stuff kind of don't really listen to people when they talk; they kind of just do their own thing. But he was watching what Duke Hudson was saying. He was talking shit about you. He was intently watching. But yeah, he goes to perform a lecture. I don't even remember what the lecture was going to be about. It was going to be something wrestling related because it always is. And he has like a TV monitor in there that he uses for all his PowerPoints and stuff. And I guess Joe Gacy hacked it. And the Schism hacked it because they just pop up on the screen. And they cut this terrible promo talking about how Chase U, the students should rebel against Chase U. And, basically they don't want him to get a degree for some reason. What a terrible, they want him to join a cult pretty much. What a terrible people to go against their, like, getting their degrees and stuff. But this promo was terrible. Ava Raine, or just Ava now, was the worst. I am kind of happy in a sense that The Rock didn't come back because Ava Raine would be shoved down our throats right now. If The Rock, you ever notice, by the way, that The Rock, since The Rock hasn't shown up, Ava Raine hasn't talked up until this point, really. They really backed off Schism since The Rock didn't come back for Mania. That I just saying. I'm not saying that pissed. I'm just saying that's something to point out. But yeah, after they're done with her Rensful promo, they also teased that Duke Hudson's going to turn on him too, because they mentioned something about how Duke Hudson like rebelling against him. Andre Chase says that next week on NXT Roadblock, because they have to do Roadblock for some reason, they have to have a stopgap before Stand and Deliver. They can't just build straight to Stand and Deliver, even though Stand and Deliver is like 3 weeks away. What's more important, WrestleMania, Stand and Deliver, or Roadblock? I guess it's Roadblock.
I guess so.
But that's totally a Vince thing, by the way. I think Shawn Michaels has been taking notes from the wrong person when it comes to booking. He's taking notes from Vince McMahon instead of Triple H. You see Triple H booking Stand and Deliver in between NXT TakeOver Dallas? No, he wasn't, because it's stupid. But anyhow, he announces next week at Stand and Deliver. Not Stand and Deliver. It should be at Stand and Deliver. At Roadblock, he's going to have a match with Joe Gacy. This was awful. All of this is awful. I hated this. I hate Schism. And I don't hate Chase U, but I hate what they're doing with Chase U right now. What did you think of this?
I don't. I just don't care enough about it. It's just something I just don't care. I don't know. They're gonna break up JSU. They're gonna fucking. I don't care about Schism. It's just NXT is just awful.
Yeah. Next, Dijak does a promo and basically accepts Tony D's match for a jailhouse match. I almost called it a cell block match, but that's a different company. Yeah, he says he's going to eviscerate him and lock him behind the cage. So good promo, I guess, by Dijak. I think it was right after that Chase U promo. I just didn't care. It like really took me out of this promo. What did you think?
Same way. Like I just didn't care enough.
Next, we had Miko Satomura versus Zoe Starks with Roxanne Perez. The way I have it written, it made it seem like she was in Zoe Starks' corner, but she was actually on commentary. But I thought Roxanne Perez, I hate to say it, was pretty bad on commentary, mainly because Booker T wouldn't stop talking to her. He kept, and like, he was trying to be like a teacher to her and continue to teach her things. And it was so bad to the point where Vic Joseph like couldn't even talk about the match. Like, don't ever put, if you're going to have Booker T on commentary, don't ever put Roxanne Perez on commentary again, because it really distracted from the match. She didn't even get to talk either because Booker T wouldn't shut up. This match was really good, just really bad commentary for the match. I think I didn't care about it either because it took me a while to recover from that bad Chase U promo. Like, I was still, like, the match got like epic. Like after 10 minutes, it was like really good. It got the ad break treatment, which was good. I don't know why the NXT North American title match didn't get that. That easily should have got that. Like, we should have been able to see that match in full, but no, we have to make precious time for Zoe Starks and Mako Satomura. Not that they're not good. I'm just, what's more of a priority there? Mako Satomura win, which was obviously going to happen because she's having a title match next week, so you just wasted my time. I definitely wouldn't say that if the booking of NXT was better. And then afterwards, her and Roxanne Perez shook hands after she was finally able to get away from Booker T's teachings. What do you think of this?
I thought the match was good. Miko winning made a ton of sense. I liked it. It was good.
There's something else that took me out of this match, by the way, and I'll talk about it right now. So all show and all week, they were announcing Shawn Michaels was going to respond to Grayson Waller. You're thinking he's going to come out, he's going to do at least some promo doing it. This is why I also was brought out of the match. We had a week of hype, by the way. What a freaking clickbait this was. During this match, the Mako Satomura Zoe Starks match, they just said, Shawn Michaels sent out a tweet responding. I was like, what? After all that, he just sent a tweet? You had a week and you just sent a tweet the day of the show? You don't send a tweet? That's not realistic. Like, remember I even asked you, what if Shawn Michaels couldn't even book himself? And you said, wouldn't be shocked? He did terrible here. Imagine, I know there was no Twitter back then. Imagine Vince McMahon says, I'm going to respond to somebody. You tease Vince McMahon on the show, and he just does a tweet the day of the show. That's why I also was brought out of this match. Basically, he says he is going to be there, but what a freaking clickbait. How terrible this was. I hope NXT fell off the ratings after that, because that was awful. I honestly hated this so much. Like, what a waste of time. What do you think?
I was shocked that they did the stupid tweet.
Yeah.
When you say you're going to announce someone for next week, it means show up in person.
Yeah.
Not show up in a tweet.
I mean, AEW doesn't even do this with Tony Khan. As quickly as he gets off camera, when they say he's going to be there, he's usually there. Like, this is worse.
It was just bad.
Then Mackenzie Mitchell's backstage. I think this was that segment where she was given an update on Wendy Chu, saying she was in bad state. She said she wasn't sure of the update, and then the most blandest tag team ever come out and say that, yeah, it's not good. No shit, it's not good. But Tiffany Stratton comes up and plays detective and says that potentially they could have been the people that attacked Wendy Chu and Nikita Lyons, since they were both backstage, or at least in the area at the time. They point fingers at Tiffany Stratton saying that she possibly did it to, whatever. I don't even care. And it leads to a match between Katana Chance and Tiffany Stratton. And this was terrible. Then the Creed brothers are backstage. This was a good segment here. They're basically forced to ask Damon Kemp to be his partner again, and he says no. And I like how that happens here. Right afterwards, Braun Breaker comes up and it offers to be their tag team partner, and they're all happy about this. And Julius Creed's like, you couldn't have come up a couple minutes before then, before I had to humiliate myself like that. And he's just like, yeah, kind of funny how that happens. And then they all like party together and stuff. I like this segment a lot here. This was funny. I loved it. What did you think of these segments?
Don't give a fucking rat's ass about the blandest tag team in the history of professional wrestling. They suck.
Yeah.
And it showed in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they did the whoop, whoop, and no one responded. But yeah, like, I don't give a fuck about them. I don't give a fuck about Tiffany Stratton. I don't give a fuck about any of this stupid
Well, except
shit.
Mackenzie Mitchell. I think you care about her.
Nope.
Oh, wow. That's mean.
And then, yeah. I thought it was the Creed segment with Braun Breaker was good.
I just don't care about that 6-man tag they're hyping up. I don't care about that at all. Then we had Sal Luca versus Electro Lopez. This match was pretty bad up until the finish when Sal Luca hit the Soul Snatcher. It wasn't good. Valentina Voice was ringside, and Electro Lopez asked for the brass knucks, and she didn't give them to her. So that led to the Soul Snatcher. And then afterwards, Valentina Voice hit Electro Lopez with the brass knucks, and that was it. I remember I even said I was wondering why Electro Lopez wasn't called up with Legado del Fantasma. Now we know why, because she sucks. So, yeah, I really didn't. Other than this, and I'm just going to say, they shouldn't have Sal Luca do the Soul Snatcher so much. That should be saved for, like, stand-in delivers and stuff like that. Like Ricochet with the... I mean, I know Ricochet actually can't do the 630 because he'd be... I think when he was doing it at Lucha Underground, like, it will legitimately injured him and stuff. But it should be saved for big shows. It shouldn't be just thrown around. And like, she should not be doing it on Level Up, especially. Like, that should not... She should be doing it on big shows. Like, she needs to get a new finisher and save the Soul Snatcher for big shows. What did you think?
Match sucked. Just a terrible match, and Soul Worker winning made sense again because, yeah, but Alex Lopez might be the worst.
Yeah. Gallus at the bar. They basically say they're going to beat up Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly get interviewed, and they say they're going to call him out face to face. Whatever. They're going to do that match with Stand and Deliver. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like this feud. I get they're doing it because Pretty Deadly beat Gallus to end their like longest reigning NXT UK tag title reign. Leave the memories alone. I really don't care about this feud at all. This is a total waste of time. That's a match you do at a Roadblock, not a freaking Stand and Deliver. I don't get why they're doing that. But what do you think of this?
It was okay. They Gallus are clearly the faces in this match, but it's okay.
Then we had Katana Chance with Kaden Carter versus Tiffany Stratton. This match was no good. Well, I guess it was. I don't know. I can't really say it was no good because I just saw that crappy Electro Lopez Sal Luca match. So in comparison, I actually like this match because I just saw that match. But I forget how during the match, Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn interfere randomly for no reason, even though they're not feuding with these teams. So I don't know why. They interfered. And Tiffany Stratton hit a moonsault onto the knees of Katana Chance. But it was enough to put her away, though, because it must have
terrible.
it must have really hurt her knees. And then afterwards, she says she's challenging the winner, pretty much, of the NXT Women's Championship match at Roadblock. What backwards booking this is? Do Meiko Satomura and Roxanne Perez at like a random NXT show, and then at Stand and Deliver, do Tiffany Stratton versus the winner, whether that's Roxanne Perez or Meiko Satomura. That makes total sense. What great booking by Shawn Michaels. I never would have thought of that. I mean, great stuff right there. What do you think of this?
That's awful. to have Tiffany Stratton compete at Stand and Deliver for the title. The fuck is she even done?
Yeah.
That's
I mean, she hasn't.
That's
Yeah.
dumb. The money match is Roxanne versus Miko at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. I think what happened is something happened with Cora Jade because I think she was meant to be the opponent, but Cora Jade vanished randomly. I don't know why she vanished.
Doing slow photo shoots on the beach. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, I really hope she's not pulling a Mandy Rose there. You're probably getting a lot of money doing those photos, but you need to be at Stand and Deliver. Like, this is just terrible. I don't know why you're disappearing like that. But next, Brooks Jensen's backstage. Not the tag team that I thought it was. It's actually the guy, Brooks Jensen, Bobby Cannon's son. And Josh Briggs basically comes up and says that he's going to talk to Kiana James for him because he's like worried about his relationship. Unfortunately, what's probably going to happen is there's going to be some type of segment or something where they accidentally kiss or something to really set up the breakup of Brooks and Jensen. Sorry, Briggs and Jensen, not Brooks and Jensen. Like, they're going to do something like that where, like, Kiana James hits on him or something. So that, and it's going to look like he hit on him or something. Like, they're going to do something terrible like that. What did you think of this?
Didn't care.
Then we had Axiom versus Hank Walker. I was just done with the show at this point, so I really didn't care about this match. The match wasn't bad, but it's like I didn't understand why it was happening. Why did they do this match on this show? I was even thinking to myself, like, you're really undercutting your main event here because the main event's going to go short now because this match came on at like 10:30. I did forget NXT runs 8 minutes over for some reason because it's such great TV. I guess it has to go with that extra 8 minutes. Too bad Raw can't get like that extra 5 minutes anymore because Vince ruined that show to that point. But Axiom won, which everybody expected. Afterwards, he puts over Hank Walker, saying that he did good. He did do good. I thought he looked pretty good. This was the best match he's ever had, but I just didn't. They should have saved this match. But what do you think?
I didn't like it.
Okay. Then we had the main event. It was Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams versus Tyler Bates. Really good match here. This match was way too short, though. I think the match only went like 20 minutes. No, it didn't even go 20 minutes. It was like 15 minutes. You easily could have had this match go longer. You could have easily cut some stuff off the show and done this match longer. But this match deserved to go way longer than it did. Carmelo Hayes won, which I think everybody expected. It's not that I hate Carmelo Hayes, but now the more I see him, I'm like, he's not the guy to dethrone Braun Breaker. It should have been Grayson Waller. He's the money, and they're going with the wrong guy, I think. I don't hate Carmelo Hayes or anything like that. It's just the problem is he's faced everyone in NXT too. And you'd say, well, Tyler Bate would have been a first opponent. Shawn Michaels screwed that up now because he's already beaten them now. So I honestly think Carmelo Hayes' gimmick's getting really bland now. The fact that he's just him, like, the wrong guy is going to dethrone Braun Breaker. So I think I'm not going to like anything Carmelo Hayes does. I'm sorry. I'm just going to. I'm basically what everyone's saying about the Sami Zayn Cody thing is how I feel about Carmelo Hayes dethroning Braun. I just don't care that it's going to be him. It should have been Grayson Waller. What did you think?
I like it. I like Carmelo Hayes a lot, and he deserves it himself too. But it should have been Grayson Waller. I agree with that. Yeah. I don't know.
I was originally going to give NXT like a C-. I thought it was like an average show. I'm giving it a freaking D+. The more I talked about it, the more bored I got, and it's one thing. We've had bad wrestling shows where we've had fun talking about them. I remember we did like a Raw retro where like Bray Wyatt was Sister Abigail. We actually had fun talking about that bad Raw. This is just boring to talk about. Like, I don't even care. Like, I can tell you don't care. You have nothing to say about it. Like,
no, I don't. I turned it off at this point.
Yeah, so it's one thing to be bad, but to be bad and boring, that's even worse, I think.
I literally turned it off at like 9:15.
Yeah, I don't blame you. What point did you turn it off at?
I couldn't even tell you, but I didn't watch the last like fucking 30 minutes of the show.
Yeah. What would you grade? I mean, what from what you saw, what would you grade this show?
I give it a let's see. I don't want to be too harsh, but Fuck it. I'll give it an F minus.
Yeah, the NXT's terrible. It's getting worse.
I just don't. Actually, no, F plus. Only because. Actually, D minus. Only because of the opening match.
Okay.
That was the only saving grace in the show. It's like fucking Battleground 20 fucking whatever the fuck it was. First match was great. Fucking cliff. Just went right off it.
Yeah, this show's terrible every
one
week.
Step off the cliff. This had a great opener, and the rest of the show was complete and utter hot garbage.
Yeah.
On top of it, too, the reason why it's a D minus, Shawn Michaels is too much of a pussy to show up on actual television.
Apparently. Let's go through main event from apparently February 22nd, like I said earlier. We had Mia Yim versus Tamina. This was good. Mia Yim won. I thought it was good. We had Cedric. Yeah. Apparently Mia Yim's meaner than Tamina. So then we had Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin versus Elias Anofe and Malik Blade. This was really good. Blake and Anofe looked like a legitimate tag team here. They should be. I know they're not probably ready for a call up. I mainly just want them to get called up just to get away from Shawn Michaels because they're on. I know they're probably not ready, but look at Solo Sikoa. He probably wasn't ready, and he actually benefited from getting probably called up too early.
He did.
I think Bleak and Anofe really they could be ready because there's Shawn Michaels. It's not like he's gonna book them anyways. So what's the difference? But this was really good. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin ended up getting the win, and yeah, I like this a lot. I'll give main event I'll give that a C. Maybe I'm being generous because I just talked about NXT, so I'm being a little generous there, but I'm giving it a C.
Seems like good matches though. Yeah.
Then we had SmackDown. This epic show right here, beautiful storytelling, beautiful matches, beautiful everything. We had it was on March 3rd, 2023. The same people on commentary. And you know they're the same people because I know way better than Michael Cole's voice. I know what they look like, so that's why it's the same people.
People.
It kicked off awesome too. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes had a face off. Roman Reigns, the bloodline comes out minus Jey Uso because he's not ready yet. And Roman Reigns tells the fans to acknowledge him. And thank God Cody came out because I think he actually saved Jimmy Uso here. I think Roman Reigns was going to go off on Jimmy Uso had Cody. I mean, he doesn't save him for the whole show, but he at least saved him temporarily. And Cody Rhodes comes out and he says that he's just there to have a conversation. He's not here to fight Roman Reigns. So he says that we don't need to have anybody else out here unless you need them out here, which he was totally taking shade at Roman Reigns for that. So he tells, I think he tells everybody to leave. He never tells Jimmy to leave, but he does anyways. Roman then tells Paul Heyman gives Roman the belts. And then Roman tells Cody, you're not going to like this part. And he drops the belts to the floor. And that's total disrespect to the championships, which you knew was killing Cody. And Cody cuts this great promo talking about how he's overcome all these obstacles. How everyone thought he was just going to be Randy Orton's lackey. How he overcame Stardust. How he basically sold out in a non-WWE arena with his best friends, which was a reference to All In. That he says that Roman Reigns dethroning him won't be much of an obstacle for him. He says that he can do it. And then Roman Reigns says that you've done everything in this business except main event WrestleManias and win the belt, win the WWE title, which he's done all of that. And he talks about how he was groomed for this business by his family and by Cody Rhodes' father. And the look on Cody's face when he said this, he knows Roman Reigns is going to get personal here. And Roman Reigns then says that he talks about how he's not going to talk badly of Dusty Rhodes because he has way too much respect for him. But he tells him that Dusty told him that he had it, and Roman actually broke out like a Dusty Rhodes impersonation. I'm not doing it because I don't do impersonations. I don't do any of that crap. But Roman actually does a Dusty Rhodes impersonation, which was obviously awesome because you never really hear Roman talk out of the tribal chief gimmick really all that much, and it was cool that he did it here. And he talked about how him and Dusty had a lot of serious conversations about everything that he's doing now. However, the one thing that they never talked about was Cody. Cody never got brought up. He did mention, though, that he probably brought him up when he was around other people, but not when he was around Cody. Not when he was around Roman, I mean. And then Cody says that that now it's a necessity. Now he has to win the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, pretty much. And he will stop at nothing to do so. And him and Roman shake hands. And Roman walks off pretty much. This segment was everything that I wanted to be and more. Like, this was fantastic. And I like that they didn't attack each other or anything like that. And I like how they're not doing the typical thing where they mentioned, because of the Vince era, Roman would have mentioned Dusty and he would have attacked Roman here and stuff. I like that, like, Cody's not letting it get to him. Like, he basically realizes that, Roman's the mastermind and all this. This was a really good segment here. And I can't wait to see what comes of it. But what did you think of this?
This segment was fantastic. It was great. It's everything that you want in a segment. It was fantastic. Loved every bit of it.
Yeah. Next was the first match on the show. It was Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio versus Liv Morgan. Really good match here. So both these women took it to each other. Do you remember I sent you that booking to someone where someone booked Liv Morgan getting into the match at WrestleMania, and they booked like Liv Morgan to beat Rhea Ripley even though she's on this unstoppable streak. Thank God that guy didn't book this match because there's no signs of that guy booking this match because not only did Rhea Ripley hit the Riptide, she made Liv Morgan tap out to the her submission, which is like the reverse Scorpion Deathlock or whatever. And yeah, I like this a lot. I'm glad that person wasn't booking that match because Rhea Ripley should be obviously winning strong. She should look very strong. Like, Liv Morgan doesn't need to be in the match at WrestleMania. You're an idiot if you thought so. I like this a lot here. What did you think of this?
I liked it too. I liked it a lot. It was really good.
Afterwards, too, you saw this fan crying at ringside. And it was like a big Liv Morgan fan and stuff. So they did a thing later on where they brought her like backstage and Liv Morgan was just talking to her and stuff. It was pretty cool. Then we had the Bloodline backstage minus Jey Uso again because he's still thinking things through. And Roman Reigns is asking Jimmy what the deal is with Jey Uso. And basically Jimmy just says the same thing that he's been telling Roman for the past month or so, that he just needs time. And I think we should think that Jimmy's lying here a little bit to protect his brother because we know Jimmy's lied before. If you remember, he lied to Paul Heyman when the Usos talked after they defended the tag titles. He has lied before to the Bloodline. So Jimmy's not exactly trustworthy at the moment.
Yes.
And Roman tells Jimmy that he's starting to lose patience, and we think that Roman's talking about with Jay, but he says he's starting to lose patience with Jimmy. So Jimmy then tells him that he's going to call him. So he goes to call Jay, and that was it. This segment was awesome. I thought Roman Reigns was awesome here, and I loved it. Then we had Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio backstage. They're just talking about how impressive Rhea Ripley was in that match. And Santos Escobar comes up and basically challenges Dominic Mysterio to a match because he says even though Ray can't punch him in the face, he's going to do that. And that was it. What do you think of these two segments right here?
They were good. I liked them. They set up some nice things.
Then we had Santos Escobar versus Dominic Mysterio with Rhea Ripley ringside. I love Face Santos. I know we've seen Face Santos before, like right before he got called up, but I feel like this Face Santos is so much better. And it's not a random turn either, because they did that segment with Rey Mysterio and stuff. Like he couldn't be a heel after that segment. He had to be a babyface. And I love the fact that he's a babyface now. He destroys Dominic Mysterio in the beginning portions of this matchup. Eventually, Dominic Mysterio takes control. I love how they were doing things where Santos has Dominic because he has the mask that Ray gave him a month ago, and he forces Dominic to look at his legacy, and Dominic just spits on it, which pissed off Santos even more. But eventually, behind the referee's back, Rhea Ripley hits the Riptide on Santos on the outside, puts him in the ring, which allows Dominic to get the splash on him. And afterwards, he grabs the you probably didn't like this part, but I did. He grabs the mask that Ray gifted him, and he's supposed to, I think, completely rip the mask, but it's not exactly going to plan, I think, because the mask is really strong and stuff. And then Ray comes out. He wants Dominic to give him the mask, and Dom says he won't unless he punches him in the face. And Ray obviously doesn't want to strike his son. And you know,
punch the shit right in the face.
Yeah, and then he punches Ray in the face, and the mask is like completely destroyed and things like that. So I like this a lot. I'm glad Ray didn't strike him here. It would have been reasonable, but I feel like this would have been a stupid reason for Ray to finally strike Dominic. But I don't know what's going to be the turning point. I think we made Steve Coakley pitched an idea a while ago that he should threaten one of the family members, like a Leo or Ray's wife / Dominic's mom. Which
Dom's mom for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be it. But I like this a lot. What did you think of the match and everything like that?
I like the match. I like the ending. I like that. The only thing that I hated was that Ray should have punched that little shit right in the fucking face.
Yeah. I loved, obviously, the commentary for the match also. After this, too, like Wade Barrett was completely on Dominic's side here. And I love that after this, like Michael Cole shitting on Dominic, and Ray's trying to defend him, and Michael Cole like won't even look at Wade Barrett after this. Like he completely turned his back on him, which I thought really sold this. I thought that was a great call by Cole right there. What do you think of Face Santos? I really like Face Santos.
I did say I really like it. I think it was a good change. It's gonna get him a lot of time too if he's around Ray.
Yeah, I have an idea too because they're clearly still talking about Legado del Fantasma, but we haven't seen Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza in a while.
Cruz I haven't seen him in forever.
An idea I had is if Andrade can come in. We haven't seen Zelina Vega either. He gets kicked out of the group and Andrade takes it over. I think that would be a cool idea. I originally thought the opposite, where Andrade would team up with Angel and Humberto Carrillo, but I think they're going to have Santos get kicked out. It would be a great way for Andrade to return. What do you think of that idea?
I think that'd be a great idea for Andrade to come back and join right up with them. But yeah, like we haven't seen Zelina in forever. But yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Unless Delgado go face, because there's a spot in the face tag division now that Hit Row's gone heel.
Shit Row.
Next, Drew McIntyre cuts a promo, and he comes out and he says that he wants the Intercontinental Championship. And Sheamus interrupts him and is upset with Drew McIntyre because he knows what that IC title means to him. He says that it was a title that he always wanted to win. And he's just upset with Drew. And Drew thinks that Sheamus isn't his parent. He shouldn't have to ask him if he can go for the championship. And Sheamus takes offense to this. And Drew also tells him that he had his chance and lost. And I love the tension here. And then it gets interrupted by LA Knight, which I thought was perfect. And he says that you can't have WrestleMania without LA Knight. And the New Day interrupt him. And Kofi and Xavier. Big E wasn't out there because he's still injured. And Kofi and Xavier mocking LA Knight. There's a bit where like Kofi Kingston's like crawling on the ground like a baby, which was funny. And then eventually Karrion Kross comes out. I loved it too because the New Day were like joking around, and when Karrion Kross came out, like the move was brought down and everything like that. And during this, LA Knight cheap shots, I think Xavier, which leads to a brawl between everybody. And eventually, Karrion Kross stands tall, and that was the end of the brawl. I like this brawl a lot. I like that they had Karrion Kross stand tall because they need to start doing better with him, which they are. So even though he beat Ray, I'm still kind of worried about him because he's still very lost in the shuffle. But yeah, this basically is going to set up a fatal 5-way match next week between all these guys, except Xavier Woods because he's not in the match. He wasn't. I guess he's not ready for that match yet. But I like this segment a lot, mainly the Drew and Sheamus stuff that was going on. I really liked that. I love that no one's like heel out of it either. Like it's actually like two friends going at it with each other. What did you think of this?
I liked it. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Then we had a brawl backstage. This was right before the show. It was supposed to be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Tegan Nox and Natalia, but the match didn't happen. IRL, Ronda's injured, so they had to basically do this segment. We never see Ronda get hurt. This is basically to write in that she's injured. It has to get broken up, and it leads to a match between Shayna Baszler with Ronda ringside versus Tegan Nox with Natalia ringside. I said this in the chat. It's time for Ronda to go. She does not have that star power anymore, and anytime she's on TV now, it's really bad now. And you can't blame the booking because they book her really strong. She's just not. I don't know what happened. She just lost that star power now. But. Shayna destroys Tegan and bakes a tap to the armbar. I really wasn't paying all that much attention to this match. I was on my phone playing WWE Champions. So there you go. What do you think of this? Because you probably saw more of it than I did.
I didn't see any of it. So
there you go. Imperium get interviewed. They talk about how much of a disgrace it is that the champion Walter is not defended his Intercontinental Championship. So,
man, they're really short sticking in here.
So, luckily, Adam Pearce made up for it. So, good boy, Adam Pearce. I'm really proud of him. What did you think of this interview?
I liked it. Yes, again, he should be defending his title like he wants to be.
I like that he wants to. He's not forced to. Then Bobby Lashley comes out to do a promo. He calls out Bray Wyatt. Instead, Uncle Howdy comes out, and he attacks Bobby from behind. Bobby is able to fight him off a bit. He gets the one-handed spine buster on him. He goes for the spear, but Uncle Howdy disappears, and the logo comes up and thins. I thought this was good. What did you think of this?
It was good. I liked it.
I mean, a lot of people, I guess, are starting to lose interest in Bray Wyatt's thing. I don't know. I don't get why. I like it. It's very creative.
I like Bray Wyatt. I don't care what fucking people say. They can't let stuff develop.
Then next, the Bloodline minus Jey Uso's backstage, and Jimmy comes up, and at first he lies to Roman and says that he's still trying to figure things out. But then Jimmy just says that he wants Roman. No, that Jey told him that he wants Roman to leave him alone. And I was very scared for Jimmy Uso when he said that because you knew Roman Reigns was not going to take that line down. It was like, ooh, Jey, I don't think you should be saying that. And Roman then realizes that the Bloodline didn't start having any issues until Sami Zayn was brought into the Bloodline. So he basically tells Jimmy and Solo to finish Sami, to completely take him out. And he says that next week, that if Jey doesn't make a decision, he's going to make the decision for him when it comes to his status in the Bloodline. And then when Jimmy and no, that's not it, though. When Jimmy and Solo walk off, Paul Heyman tells Roman Reigns that he handled that really well. And then Roman Reigns tells Paul Heyman that there's going to basically be dire consequences for Jimmy Uso if Jey Uso doesn't give him an answer next week. So, yeah. What do you think of this segment? I like this a lot.
I liked it a lot. It set up, obviously, the future next week with the decision. Scary times are ahead.
Yeah.
You scared?
I was so scared. I remember I texted in the chat. I was so scared when I saw Roman come out. And I thought something bad was going to happen to Jimmy Uso.
Main event Jey Uso.
Yeah. Poor Jimmy though. Like he's getting mixed in the middle of this. So, and he's been a good
main event Jey.
He's been a good soldier to Roman too. Like I don't know what's going on there. Like what did Jimmy do to piss off the tribal chief? I just have to know. Next we had
Jey.
Huh?
By not producing Jey.
I guess so. Then we had Solo Sikoa with Jimmy Uso versus Sami Zayn. This match was really good. I really liked it. Solo Sikoa won with the Samoan Spike, which I actually didn't have an issue with, the protecting Solo Sikoa. I thought Sami Zayn got in enough offense where he didn't look weak from it. And he was also outnumbered too. So I feel like if Sami just beats Solo, even though he has help, there's no reason for KO and Sami together. I remember they were doing that shit with Cena, where like Cena would need a partner, but he would end up putting away the guys anyways on his own. So it was like, what do you need a partner for? So that's why I'm happy that Sami's losing with all the help. Then afterwards, they go to end Sami, but Jimmy wants to be the one to do it, but he takes too long. And Sami recovers. He fires away on him with the chair and takes off. And during the match, Roman was watching this, and Roman was starting to crack. I like how because they showed him throughout the match, and Roman was starting to crack the more the match went on and stuff. And he was really not happy when Sami got escaped and things. So this was awesome. What'd you think of this match and everything like that?
Thought it was a good match, for sure. Good match. I like them showing Roman. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, I feel bad. I feel very scared that Jimmy Uso is going to get the piss beaten out of him next week by Roman Reigns.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We don't know. Well, Roman, I guess I'm going to say we don't know if Roman will actually be there, but it's very much implied he will actually be there next week. So I know his schedule, like he wasn't there, not on the last SmackDown, but I imagine Roman's going to be on about every SmackDown. Probably one Raw before Mania. Maybe he'll miss one more SmackDown before Mania, if I had to guess. But I like the SmackDown a lot. I'm going to give it a B+. It would have been in the A range had it not been for that shitty Shayna Baszler Tegan Nox match. That match was bad. What do you think of this?
I give it a B+ too. I thought the show was really good. Besides that, obviously that Shayna match, Shayna thing. But yeah, I give it a B+.
Then we had NXT Level Up. We had the same people on commentary. They had the same day as SmackDown. We had Lyra Valkyria versus Tatum Paxley. It sucks Lyra has to get relegated to Level Up, but they don't have anything for her right now because she was supposed to feud with Cora, but Cora went AWOL. And, so this match was really good, though. These women really brought it to the table. Eventually, Lyra Valkyria won, but I thought the match was really good. Then they did this interview with Luca Crucifino, who's like a lawyer, but also a wrestler, which completely lost me because it's like, it doesn't make sense for a lawyer to be a wrestler. Like, if you're going to do a lawyer gimmick, they need to be a manager, not a wrestler. That doesn't make any sense. But so I didn't like any of this. He faced Dante Chin on this show. Dante Chin won, which doesn't look very promising for Luca Crucifino because Dante Chin's typically the jobber of NXT Level Up, and the fact that Luca Crucifino won means he's also a fucking loser. Like
a fucking loser.
Then we had Oliver Carter versus Eddie Thorpe. This match was really good. I like Eddie Thorpe a lot. Eddie Thorpe actually won. I really feel bad for Oliver Carter because he came in with NXT with all this steam, and now he can't even beat Scripps or Eddie Thorpe. So Oliver Carter is getting into like the Dante Chin category.
Eddie Thorpe was Carl Friedrichs from New Japan. So
Carl who?
Carl Friedrichs.
Oh, I don't. Oh, you mean Fredericks?
Friedrichs. Fred Frieders.
Oh, okay. I do remember seeing him before, but I guess because it's been so long since I've watched like New Japan Strong and stuff that I don't remember him all that much. But I actually liked Level Up. It actually reminded me of like the old NXT a little bit. I think because it's only like a half hour, and Shawn Michaels can't really screw up the booking in a half hour. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I think Shawn Michaels will accept my challenge on that. If he's probably gonna like book like a half hour NXT, and it's gonna all be crap and things like that. So. Before we end off, we have some news things that came out, and I'm going to do some predictions. I want to talk about this thing. We talked about the Vince thing and everything, but the thing that I think that the talent's pissed about is Triple H wants to do shorter Mania match, like a Mania card this year. I think one night Bobby will have 8 matches, and one night will have another 8 matches. Like, basically, he wants to do shorter WrestleMania cards. And a lot of the talent unhappy about this because they're going to miss out on WrestleMania. I totally get it in terms of a talent standpoint because they work hard every year and they're going to be left off Mania. And I get why they'd be upset about it. However, this is just my take on it. I don't really have an issue with the fact that WrestleMania is going to be short of match cards or anything like that. I've talked about this before, I think with you and other people. WrestleMania really should be like the Super Bowl. Like, do you remember, maybe not necessarily in the early WrestleManias, but back in like, maybe like the Ruthless Aggression era Manias, only like the elite talent got on a WrestleMania. It was getting to the point where like everybody had a match at WrestleMania that it didn't feel special anymore. So I actually like the fact that like everything's going to be special. It does suck for some of the wrestlers that've been there. If I had to guess what's going to happen, I think what's going to happen is I know they do WrestleMania Raw and WrestleMania SmackDown as like the go home shows. I imagine the matches they can't fit on Mania. They'll get those matches and they'll get like a WrestleMania payday. So that way they'll be compensated. And maybe they'll do like a match on the fallout of WrestleMania Raw, WrestleMania SmackDown. They'll get compensated for that. I don't think you need to squeeze everybody on WrestleMania because I remember that's what led to WrestleMania being so damn long anyways. So I guess I get because they're having like John Cena and like an Edge and like Logan Paul come in and like take up their spot even though they've been wrestling all year. If you say that, then you don't want to make any money because John Cena, Edge, and Logan Paul draw people to the product. And their draws, as much as you don't want to say it with John Cena, but their draws, they're going to draw people in. John Cena being there is going to make things better for them. I remember everyone had this issues when The Rock came in and wrestled that match with John Cena at WrestleMania 28. They hated the fact that The Rock was taking up a major spot for them, even though The Rock was drawing people. Now, I will admit, I get it when it's too many part-timers. I remember there was Manias where it was just filled with part-timers. You need that balance. We have that balance this year. I mean, the main event of WrestleMania, yes, one of the guys is a part-timer, but two guys that are mainly WWE guys. So I just really don't get I get the talent being unhappy because they lose out a spot at Mania, but I personally don't have an issue with shorter Mania codes. It makes the show shorter and it makes WrestleMania feel like a big time deal. But what do you think of the cards being shorter and everything like that?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it being shorter. My point is still with this being 2 nights is it's long.
Yeah.
So if you cut down on match time, I'm okay with it.
I mean, think about it like this too. Now that it's 2 nights, Sami Zayn, if it's the main event, I hope it is, Sami Zayn and KO are going to get a main event WrestleMania spot, which wasn't possible if it was 1 night. So if that main event's better main event, they better not be stupid and main event like. The only reason I'm okay with it not main event is if we find out Cena's last match is this year, then I would be okay with it. But yeah, let's do some predictions for this upcoming week's stuff. We're gonna start with Raw. I'm gonna be there. I'm really excited about it. I haven't been to Raw in a while. Trying to remember the last Raw I went to. It was before the pandemic. I think the last one I went to was in like 2019, before WrestleMania 35. So it was a long time since I've been to a Raw. So I think I was gonna go to the Raw that Big E cashed in the Money in the Bank contract, but it was still kind of soon after the vaccinations and the world kind of opened and stuff like that. So it was still kind of too soon to go. But this will be the first Raw I go to. I'm really excited about it. I'm glad I got my tickets when I did because I got the tickets like before they announced Cena came in, and I got like pretty good seats and stuff like that. And then Cena came in, and most of the arena like sold out and stuff. So I picked a good time to buy the tickets and everything like that. But going through what's going to be on Raw for matches and stints. One of the matches is Bianca Belair versus Carmella. I imagine Bianca Belair will win this match unless they do something where Asuka distracts her and Carmella wins by countout, which would totally happen in the Vince era. But I think Carmella will just win and they'll do something with Asuka and Bianca like after the match or something. Who do you think will win that match?
I think it's kind of tough. I think it's going to be Carmella.
Okay. And then we have Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano. I'm really excited to see this match live. This match is going to be awesome live. And I get to see the whole match too. Like I think it won't be interrupted by a commercial or anything like that. So I'm really excited to see it. Unless they do the picture-in-picture thing this week. Because I know sometimes there's a Raw where it's all picture-in-picture and things. So this one could go either way because I could see Edge interfering on this show and helping Gargano win. But I think Finn Balor will just win. But Edge will come out after the match, accept his challenge, and say, this will be where we get the Hell in a Cell match if it happens. But what do you think?
I think Finn Balor is going to win.
Yeah, but this match would be awesome.
This match would be really good.
I don't think it will be as good of the match they had at TakeOver right before the pandemic.
But it's Triple H running the show and not Vince, so you know it's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
Was Vince running the show, Gargano wouldn't be there.
Yeah. What else is on this show? Logan Paul and Seth Rollins are having their face-off. I imagine Seth Rollins is gonna say a lot of the stuff that he said on like the interviews and stuff before Logan Paul showed up at Elimination Chamber, and Logan Paul would say something, and I imagine then we're gonna get that match set up at Mania. Maybe The Miz will make the match since he's the host of WrestleMania. They always like to have the host make at least one match on the show, and I think this will be the match The Miz makes. But what do you think will happen in this segment?
I think The Miz makes the match, like you said. I think it's going to be a really good segment.
Then we have John Cena returning. I don't know when Cena's returning, if it'll be in the beginning of the show or the end of the show. I think it's going to be the beginning of the show. It is.
He comes back. He always comes back at the end.
Yeah.
The beginning at the end.
It also depends on the schedule. Like, he might have to be on in the beginning because he can't be on at the end because it's like 11 o'clock. And I think they want to. If it was a surprise, it would be at the end. But I think he's going to be in the beginning. I think it will be typical. I do think it will be a little different because he hasn't cut a promo really in front of a live crowd. I know he did like one after the show when he wrestled last year, but I'm saying like this is the first one he'll cut on camera and stuff. So I imagine he'll probably talk about that a little bit and stuff. And he'll get interrupted by Austin Theory, and they'll set up their match at WrestleMania. And I think this is when John Cena is going to say all the stuff that everyone says about Theory, how he's basically Cena, a younger version of Cena, and things like that. But Cena will throw shade at him, saying that he's not as big of a star as him and stuff. But what do you think will happen when Cena's return? Do you think Theory will even confront him, or do you think they're going to go a completely different direction?
I think Theory is going to confront him because they've been hyping it up, but they've been teasing it for a little bit. So I think it's going to happen on Monday night.
And that's everything announced for Raw, pretty much. I imagine we're going to have something with the Bloodline and Kevin Owens on Raw. So I think all the stuff with Kevin Owens will be on Raw, and then all the stuff with Sami Zayn will be on SmackDown. And then eventually, like the last couple of weeks before Mania, they're going to somehow cross mingle. But I think most of the stuff that happens with Kevin Owens will be on Raw. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Until we get closer to the the Mania, then I think it's both shows.
Let's preview Stand and Deliver. I really don't care about this show at all. Not Stand and Deliver, I'm sorry. Roadblock. I keep screwing that up. But I really don't care about the show at all. I think I care about maybe 3 things on this show. But the reason I also don't care about the show is NXT is just terrible every week. This week at NXT, I think, will be good. Because usually when it's like a roadblock or a Stand and Deliver, NXT always ups their game. I think because Shawn Michaels can't really book, they have to, because it's like a big pay-per-view thing, so they have to let the wrestling do things. But I do think this NXT roadblock, I'm going to be very shocked if we say it's a bad show. But it's Shawn Michaels booking. The first match is a jailhouse street fight. It's Dijak versus Tony D'Angelo. This basically is lock your opponent in a cell pretty much. I think Dijak should win this. They could have Tony D win because they can protect Dijak since he doesn't have to be pinned to lose. But I think Dijak should win this. And and go on to face Wesley in like a rematch at Stand and Deliver. But who do you think will win this?
Let's see. I think it's going to be Dijak. I mean, Tony D is going to look good, and it would make sense for Tony D to win too, but I think it's going to be Dijak.
I mean, we say this. We also have to think like Shawn Michaels will book too. So we'll get to that later. We have the 6-man tag match. This should open the show. It's Braun Breaker and the Creed Brothers versus Jinder Mahal and Indus. I really don't give a crap about this match. This match, I think, won't really be that good because the opposing team, I guess Indus isn't that bad, but I just do not care about this match. Braun Breaker and the Creed Brothers are going to win, and nobody will care. Well, the Performance Center crowd will care, but I won't care. But what do you think?
Honestly, it could go either way. I really just don't know at this moment in time who's going to win. And I really don't care either way.
If you had to pick somebody, who would you pick?
I honestly forget who it is.
Braun Breaker and the Creed Brothers versus Indus and Jinder Mahal.
Like I said, they're probably fucking Braun Breaker and the Creeds.
Yeah. We have Andre Chase versus Joe Gacy. I think this match will be good, but I don't care about this match at all either. I think the crowd will be into it because it's Chase U. Unfortunately, Joe Gacy, I think, will win, and it's going to lead to more dissension within Chase U, which is stupid. But what do you think?
I think Joe Gacy is going to win again. They're going to fuck over Andre Chase, and then they're going to break up fucking Chase U, which is the dumbest thing they could possibly do. But Shawn Michaels doesn't have any fucking brain cells left in his head, so we know what's going to happen.
Then we have JC Jane versus Gigi Dolan. Not a stipulation match, even though it warrants it. I get you could say, well, they don't want to do the stipulation match, the first match in, but this easily should have a stipulation. This match, I don't think will be all that good because JC Jane sucks. And like I said earlier, JC Jane's freaking winning. That's totally a Shawn Michaels thing to do, to have Gigi Dolan the week before cut a killer promo, and she's gonna lose. That's totally happening. I can't. I'm not convincing myself otherwise. What do you think?
I think the same thing too. Like, this is the Shawn Michaels, the Marty Jannetty.
Yeah,
like that. It's obvious. JC Jane's winning. There's no stip, so there's no really way to protect Gigi, I guess, if she loses. I mean, it's gonna be fucking some schmoz fucking way that she's gonna win too, where it's like she puts her feet up on the ropes, or the referee, or the typical WWE ref bump, and then she uses weapons and beats the shit out of her weapons.
Yeah,
and then she wins.
It's gonna be stupid. This match is stupid. We have a match that could be like a banger. They better not be stupid and put this in the main event. I say this because of what should main event. It's the NXT Women's Championship match. It's Roxanne Perez versus Meiko Satomura. A match that should be at Stand and Deliver, but it's not for some reason. Roxanne Perez will easily win this. Not easily, but it's like an obvious win for her. I could see Meiko Satomura swerving us and getting the belt, but there's really no reason to take the belt off of Roxanne Perez. And unfortunately, I think what will happen is after the match, she's going to get attacked by Tiffany Stratton, and they'll set that match up for Stand and Deliver that nobody wants to see. What do you think?
I think Roxanne's going to win. But yeah, that's so dumb that they're having Tiffany Stratton be the one to face Roxanne Perez. Tiffany fucking Stratton.
Can I tell you actually something?
Fucking kidding me.
I hate to say it. They're probably going to say Shawn Michaels, they're probably going to say, well, it was meant to be Cora Jade. I honestly think Shawn Michaels had Tiffany Stratton in the books all along. I think whether Cora Jade was going to be there or not, I think it was going to be Tiffany Stratton all along. I hate to say it.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
That match is going to suck. And not because of Roxanne Perez, because of Tiffany Stratton.
Then we had the Grayson Waller effect with Shawn Michaels. This should main event because Grayson Waller's money. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, I think after the 6-man match, Carmelo Hayes is going to have a face-off with Braun Breaker, and they'll set that match up for Stand and Deliver, which I'm going to be against no matter what. You have the Grayson Waller effect with the special guest Shawn Michaels. This should main event because Grayson Waller's money, and no matter what we say about Shawn Michaels, him being on a promo with Grayson Waller is going to be money because Shawn Michaels knows how to cut a promo and everything like that. However, because they need Shawn Michaels backstage, this is going to be like the opener of the show or something because they're that stupid and nothing will follow it. I'm actually really looking forward to this, mainly because I want Grayson Waller's money. I don't think it's going to lead to a match between Shawn Michaels and Grayson Waller. I think Shawn Michaels will bring out like Tyler Bate or some new superstar from NXT, and they'll face Grayson Waller. And I actually think what's going to happen is they're going to do a match where, because I think Grayson Waller's leaving NXT. I think he's done after WrestleMania because Shawn Michaels can't be that stupid where the only reason I can come up with where Grayson Waller didn't win the belt is because he's not going to be in NXT much longer. Carmelo Hayes will. By the way, if you think about it, Grayson Waller leaving NXT, I know we've talked about this before where we've seen people leave and be done with NXT. NXT's been able to bounce back. I honestly think if Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller are gone from NXT, that's going to hurt NXT huge, especially Grayson Waller being gone, just because who do they have other than Carmelo Hayes and like Tyler Bate and stuff that can really carry the brand? Like, I think that NXT is going to take a big hit without Grayson Waller and Braun Breaker, which is why I think they're so hesitant to put them on the main roster where they belong. More so Grayson Waller, but I don't know what's going to happen here. But I'm really looking forward to this. What do you think will happen in this segment?
I think it's going to be a good segment. But yeah, like I think this is going to be the debut of Dragon Lee.
Okay.
Big pay-per-view moment for him. He's going to beat down fucking Waller, and Waller's going to leave. Powder up.
Yeah.
That's going to be a stay and deliver match. But yeah, them losing both Grayson Waller and Braun Breaker is going to be tough.
Yeah. Because usually what happens, we've seen it before, NXT always has somebody lined up to take the spot. Like when Finn Balor left NXT, Shinsuke Nakamura was ready to take that spot. When Drew McIntyre and like Bobby Roode left, the UE, even though they had just gotten together, they were ready. And they also had the Gargano and Ciampa feud like in the works. So they were able to like bounce back with that. When Adrian Neville left, Finn Balor was ready to take the spot. I know Carmelo Hayes is ready, but the problem is they don't have that baby face ready to take the spot of Braun Breaker. I guess Tyler Bates ready, but no one really knows Tyler Bates. I hate to say it, but and I just don't know. Like he carried the NXT UK brand pretty well, and like Ilya Dragunov could do it. But what happens if NXT Europe launches after this? Like, are they really gonna? Like, I imagine Tyler Bate and Ilya Dragunov will go be a part of that, right? Because they need them for that. I just don't know. Because it's not like I don't think Jay White's going to come in and be a part of NXT because that'd be a terrible. So I just don't know who takes Braun Breaker's spot. Then we have SmackDown. We have a few matches announced. We have a Fatal 5-Way match announced between Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Sheamus, Karrion Kross, and Kofi Kingston. One is going to face Walter at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. It's between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. And I think they're going to go with Drew McIntyre. I could see them doing something, though, where Sheamus and McIntyre both get like a double pin or something on each other. So that way they have to do a triple threat match because I think that's the match to do at Mania. But if they want to have Walter defend the belt one-on-one, I think Drew's the person to go with since he hasn't faced Drew yet, at least on TV or anything like that. And then maybe they do Sheamus versus Karrion Kross, maybe on like WrestleMania SmackDown or something, because that way it gives Karrion Kross and Sheamus something to do. But yeah, who do you think will win that Fatal 5-Way match?
Drew.
There you go. And I think Kofi's taking the fall because I think it will hurt him the least to take the fall since he's a veteran of the business. Who do you think will take the fall?
To Kofi, sadly.
Yeah. Then we have the Viking Raiders versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Both these teams, especially the Viking Raiders, need this win. But I think Braun and Ricochet are going to win. But I think the Viking Raiders should win this match because they really need a big win because they just came off their 2 losses with Sheamus and Drew. But who do you think will win?
It's tough. It really is. Who is it again? It's
Braun and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders.
yeah, it's Braun and Ricochet.
Yeah, I could see that. And then we have
I mean, the Viking Raiders need a win, but yeah, it's gonna be Braun and Ricochet.
yeah. I mean, they could get the win if they but Braun and Ricochet also just it's gonna hurt Braun Strowman a lot if he doesn't win that match too, because and Braun Strowman's the biggest star and everything like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then we have the big thing that's gonna happen is Roman Reigns. What's to be the fate of Jey Uso and both Usos really next week? I imagine that's gonna close SmackDown. They could open it, but I think it should close SmackDown. And I think this is going to be the week Jay finally turns on Sammy. That's why I think it should close SmackDown, and he'll finally be fully with the bloodline again. And that will set up Sammy and KO finally teaming up and eventually. What do you think will happen?
Yeah, I think this is the week. I think this is the week for sure. This is gonna be it.
It would be cool though if it wasn't the week where Jey Uso called out Roman or something. I feel like too this is gonna be good. It's not gonna be like that toxic attraction Roxanne Perez thing where it was obvious they were in cahoots the whole time. I actually think there's gonna be some thought here and stuff. So I'm really excited to see what happens here. I think Roman will be there. And I think Jay will show up at the very end of the show. They'll build to it all night. And I could see something happening where like Roman doesn't even let Jimmy go into like the Bloodlines locker room. Do you see that happening?
Yes, I can see that happening too also.
But I'm really excited about it. One final thing I want to talk about is I don't think there's a Hall of Fame this year because we haven't had an announcement for anybody yet. And usually it's we're 3 weeks away, and they usually have announced people by now. I don't think they're going to do the Hall of Fame this year. I'm honestly not disappointed with it. I know a lot of people like to watch the Hall of Fame because it's a nice thing for the wrestlers to come out and stuff like that. But I personally think they can go a year or so without doing the Hall. I mean, I know they did it in 2020, but that was because of the pandemic. But I think it's getting to the point where you're going to run out of people every year because I don't even know who could have gone in this year. I'm actually okay if there's no Hall of Fame this year. But what do you think about no Hall of Fame this year? It's looking like anyways.
Yeah, I mean I'm indifferent about it. I don't really care. It's a cool thing. It's a cool spectacle to watch, but yeah, I'm not really bothered by it if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, especially too like I don't know who could have gone in this year, especially like I said because everyone's gone in. I think that can go in. I mean, not everybody, but like all the big stars that you would expect. Like if The Rock was going to be at Mania this year, I think they would have done the Hall of Fame and had The Rock go in. But I don't know who because Batista's busy. I think too. He's doing movies. It's too soon for Cena to go in. I just don't know who could have gone into the Hall of Fame. I remember because Steve asked, and I legit couldn't think of anyone that could have gone into the Hall of Fame. I think all the women that could have gone in. I think all the big women of like the big stars of the era have gone in for the most part. So I just don't know who could have gone in this year for the Hall of Fame. I think they should go a few years without doing the Hall of Fame. I know it's a spectacle. It'd be something that's missed, but they've run out of people, I think. And this is what happens when you do a Hall of Fame every year. You're going to run out of people. And I think they should go like 10 years or so, maybe 5 at the most, without doing the Hall of Fame, because I think they've run out of like big stars that they can do one every year. Maybe they don't have to necessarily do it every year. Maybe do it like every 2 years or every other year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they could go. I think they could skip this year, go every other year.
Yeah. So I think after Taker, this is tough.
Yeah,
especially too, I think the WrestleMania SmackDown always suffers with the Hall of Fame because it's always like a crappy show because they're getting ready for the Hall of Fame and stuff. So I think they should go a year without the Hall of Fame. Anything else you want to talk about before we end off this video?
No, we've covered everything.
There you go. Going to Raw this week. I'm gonna announce this now, Chris. I'm doing the Raw notes next week because the rule is if you go to the show, you do the notes.
Oh, now you're just making shit up, huh? Now you're gonna take my job away from me now?
I'll be nice and I'll let you do SmackDown notes. How about that?
I'm mean.
Huh?
You gotta take the Raw notes away from me? How dare you?
Hey, when you go to the show, you get to do the notes. That's
so mean.
I'm not relented on this. I'm gonna be taking, unless you want thousands of pictures sent to your phone randomly. So
what if I jump in front of you and do the Raw notes as you're trying to do them?
Like just cut me off every 2 seconds? That'd be funny. We did get one comment. Dean Witchinster said fan with an AO. It's like a really small AO. He said hey to us like a while ago. So hey Dan. No, not Dan, Dean. Hope he's doing well. But yeah, is there anything you want to say to Dean? He said hey to us.
Hey, what's up?
That might have been a troll comment though. That looks like a troll, but maybe not. But yeah, we're doing the plugs now. Is there anything you want to plug or promote?
What I'm plugging and or promoting is just watch Raw on Monday. Watch SmackDown. If you want to watch NXT, watch NXT. But don't watch any of that shit that's on Wednesday because it sucks. Just don't do it.
What about the thing that's coming on Sunday? Or Saturday, whenever it is.
If you want to watch it, go ahead. I'm not.
Okay.
Not worth my time, my money.
Can they watch what's on Tuesdays with NWA? Can they watch that?
No.
Oh. What do they need your permission to watch stuff now, Chris? Like, do they need to ask you ahead of time?
Yes.
As for me, you could subscribe to this channel. I'm 3 subscribers away from 400 subscribers, so it would be very nice to subscribe. And that's not me giving you permission, Chris, to make 3 fake accounts and subscribe to them. I want to earn these subscribers. I'm not telling you that. Yeah, you're not doing that because I want to earn these subscribers. So please don't do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Selfishly, I kind of don't want to get there anytime soon because then I have to make a 400 subscriber shout out video, and that's just not very fun to make. So I kind of hope I don't get there anytime soon, but it would be nice to get there, but I'm probably going to, but then I have to make that subscriber shout out video. And as you know, Chris, those videos are not fun to make. It's a lot of reading out of channels that you can't pronounce them like that. I remember there's like a channel that has like 3 zeros and like 3 letters and then 3 more zeros. It's like, we don't need any of that. So you could subscribe if you want, but maybe take your time. So that way I could take my time and have it. Because then I gotta like stop everything I'm doing and make that subscriber shout out video. And I just don't want to do that. You could check out the other videos in the WWE Aftershock Corner series, where Chris and I have covered lots of WWE shows, and we've had a great time doing it. And then you can check out AEW Spark, where Noah and a co-host or a co-guest review AEW every week. That's really fun. You could check out Retro Wrestling Review Series, where we review past wrestling. We did 3 retros this week. We did WrestleMania 1, Chris and I. We sort of did WrestleMania 15 this week, sort of. You could go watch the video and see why it's sort of. Because we did do it. It was just not this week like you think. And if you want to know, Chris, I'll just tell you off air. But you're probably going to leave off air. So
I am going to leave off air.
And then you can check out WrestleMania 2000/WrestleMania 16, which Casey Gallagher and myself did yesterday. And it was uploaded today. Well, no, it wasn't uploaded today. It was live yesterday. I always forget we do things live now. And then as for next week, the plan is that we'll potentially Noah, James, and I are going to do WrestleMania 25. Chris on Tuesday. Chris and I are going to do WrestleMania 10 on Wednesday. And this is a big one. And this is definitely happening Thursday. So this is planned no matter what. Casey, James, me, And a big guest, the biggest guest I've ever had on this channel, good old JM Jeff Meacham, is going to be doing WrestleMania 24 Retro. So it's going to be awesome. I'll probably get to 400 subscribers that way, and then I'll have to make the subscriber shout-out video, and I'll hate my life. You can check out other retros like the Royal Rumble series and the 2 New Year's Revolutions, 05 and 06, and then you can check out Survivor Series 2002 that James did as a re-retro. And if you want to just watch any other retro, just go watch it. No one's stopping you except Chris. He'll stop you. But you know that Chris is a wildcat like that. Sometimes he can't control himself.
I can't fucking stop you in a heartbeat.
But that's pretty much it, guys. And and then obviously you can check out CM Brothers to check out the 400th video where my cousin and I reviewed the third greatest movie we've ever seen. Yes, it's the worst and the third greatest movie that I've ever seen. If you don't get that reference, then you don't belong on this channel. I think Chris got that reference. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We will talk to you guys later, and I can't say my catchphrase anymore because James ruined it. So, is he back, by the way? I don't even know. I did text him.
I don't know.
I don't think he's back. He's not back. This is the second time he did this to me.
James, please save us.
We're just sitting here.
Please, James.
I might have to call him.
James.
I think he fell asleep.
Jimmy. Jimbo.
No, that's not Jimmy Neutron.
Hello. Please save us.
I think we're trapped.
This is wonderful.
We're done. Yeah, I texted you. I don't know what happened this time. I even did it on Facebook message. I thought so. He passed out, Chris. He fell asleep.
I passed out. Sorry, everyone. All right. Oh, we had one comment from Dean Winchester. Hello, Dean.
Yeah, we said hey to him.
All right, bye.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.